All right. Hello, those who are joining and those who might rewatch this video later. I just purchased a new phone, activated it.
Toward Antietam Road, then turn right onto Antietam Road.
Solely so I could have GPS and phone abilities while live streaming with you all. Plus, I'm going to use it tonight in the asylum. So this should be pretty fun.
Southwest, then turn left.
GPS, you don't even know where I'm at. So guys, I'll start taking questions.
Turn right onto Antietam Road, then turn right onto Alexandria Drive.
I'll start taking questions once I get on the interstate, once I don't have to do so many turns and whatnot.
Turn right onto Alexandria Drive.
Chill. I'm used to using Waze, but I'm using the Google
You are on
Maps.
the fastest route. You should reach your destination by 5:47 p.m.
Thanks, bruh. Pushing every piece of gear I have to its limits.
On Alexandria Drive for 3/4 of a mile.
Hope everyone's having a great day. I hope the wind's not too bad. My AC doesn't kick on until about 20 minutes. And I don't even know how the AC works, because the AC doesn't work in this car. But on the trip to the farm, to Revenant Acres, it started working about 20-30 minutes into it.
Hey, the wind's hurting the microphone.
What about now?
In a 1/4 mile, turn left onto Versailles Road.
There's a little bit of a delay, so it'll take a second. I rolled the window up, the passenger window.
It's good now.
It's nice and hot.
Turn left.
I've never gotten that message before. It said network is not working.
22 north for 1.5 miles.
Because Wi-Fi.
In a 1/4 mile, turn right onto New Circle Road.
Alright, it should be good now. It was automatically trying to connect to some dumb Wi-Fis. Alright, let's try again.
Continue on Kentucky 922 north for 1.5 miles. In a 1/4 mile, turn right onto New Circle Road.
Gotta remember to keep Wi-Fi off.
.922 north for 1.5 miles. In a 1/4 mile, turn right onto New Circle Road.
It talks so much even when I'm not moving.
Continue on Kentucky 922 north for 1.5 miles. In a 1/4 mile, turn right onto New Circle Road.
Chill. Alright guys, hopefully we're live. Mom, Dad, are we live?
Onto Newtown Pike.
Are we still connected? Yeah, we're still on there. Are you muted?
Yeah, we're here.
Is the live stream going?
Yeah, it is.
Hi everybody, sorry for the delay. Always remember to turn
good.
Continue on Newtown Pike for 1.5
Bonnie
miles.
wants to know what kind of car that is. I guess it's a Ferrari.
Yeah, it's my new Ferrari. It's a Hyundai Ferrari. A Kia Lamborghini. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I tried to set it up to where you all are in the passenger seat. Like hopefully it kind of feels like you're a tall person in the passenger seat. Yeah, I guess driving's not too hard. It's alright. Driving can be scarier than any ghost, though. Has anybody watching had any scary experiences while driving? Man, there are cops everywhere today.
While we're waiting for questions, why don't you say where we're going and what your plans are?
It's a good idea. So right now we're headed to the location. We're headed to the asylum. And, oh, come on, people. And it's about 4 hours away, so we got a little bit of a drive on our hands. But what I'm doing right now, I figured on the drive I could also try and get a
Use the
Q&A
right lane to
in.
take the I-64 East, I-75 South ramp to Ashland, Knoxville. Use the right lane to take the I-64 East ramp, then merge onto I-64 East.
But yeah, so part of the reason I got the cell phone is A, to do the cell phone experiment at the insane asylum, but B, to do this, so that way we could do the live stream, plus I could have the phone call and the GPS going. But yeah, for tonight, so I brought 2 different gateway devices.
On I-64 East for 4 miles.
So I've got one gateway device that will be able to house the microphone and 2 spirit boxes. So I'll be able to have AM, FM, and the microphone all running through a portable little interdimensional gateway device. It's also powered by 9 volts because the power brick I've got for the other one, it's really powerful, but it also adds weight to it. It adds a lot of weight. So I made a lightweight 9 volt version specifically for this trip. Also, I'd fixed some of the spirit boxes, so the copper crystal box is pretty much out of order right now. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with it. But I've got 2 other spirit boxes working. I've got one that's FM only, and then another one that's FM and AM. So we're going to use the FM only, and then the AM one, plus the microphone. I forgot to mention, so with the microphone experiments, I've only had luck with it a handful of times. One of the times, obviously, is the video I uploaded yesterday, but another one of those times, and Frank has come through on it before, but another one of the times I've had someone talk through it was at the location I'm going to. We started walking around with it, and then someone started talking through it, telling us to like sit down with them, and we walked around, and then this man started talking over it, and he started trying to help us with it. It was incredible. And a female voice came through at one point. You know how like when I talk into it, you'll hear my words echoed back reversed? a female voice came out of it at one point, which was just mind-blowing.
Apocalypse wants to know how old you are.
What was it?
Androgynous Apocalypse wants to know how old you are.
27. So androgynous, I'm 27 years old. I don't feel 27, but I guess that's the age I am. Androgynous, how old are you? Can y'all see the sky and everything, or is it just pretty much the car?
Left at the fork to continue on I-64 East. Follow signs for Winchester, Ashland.
Sarah Sunshine wants to know how old do you feel if you don't feel 27?
I feel like I'm like 16 at the oldest, maybe 18.
Keep left at the fork
Does that
to
smoke
continue on
decent?
I-64 East.
Sarah also wants to know, I'm sorry, it's Androgynous Apocalypse wants to know what your
Continue
favorite
for
piece of equipment
169 miles.
My favorite piece of equipment. I'd have to say my favorite piece, like if I had to pick one thing and one thing only, well, no, I don't know. My favorite thing to use is the gateway device thing that I built, because it's just so fascinating, and it's a powerful experience when you hear a spirit's voice in real time. Like when you hear them talk directly to you, knowing that the only way words could be coming out of it is if something's talking to you. There's no other experience like it in the world. It's the coolest thing. It's a step up from EVPs. Like, I love it. Yeah, so the gateway device, the interdimensional gateway device with the spirit boxes running AM and FM, plus the microphone. That's always good. I have to say, yeah, that's my favorite. I'm liking the REM pod a lot, though. The REM pod's been a lot of fun. Like, I thought it was like, I didn't expect the spirits to take to it so well, but I think it's because it lights up and makes noise. Anything that lights up and makes noise, anything that they can cause a reaction to in our world, I think they really like. So I want to put some kind of reactive lighting onto the gateway device, so that way when they like speak through it or get near it, it'll be sort of like a REM pod, just without the alarm sound. But that way, if the gateway detects any energy in its presence, like around it, it would light up, which I think would be really cool. That'd be a neat addition to it. Here's something I thought was interesting. I was talking to Kevin, had mentioned from Kevin's spiritual journey, he had mentioned trying to obtain direct one-on-one spirit communication, clean, clear, like super obvious spirit communication. And one thing he talked about was it being a one-on-one kind of thing, because a lot of times it'll sound like multiple spirits are trying to come through, unless it's Frank. Frank can take over the box entirely. But if we achieve that dream tonight or anytime soon, what's something we should ask a spirit one-on-one directly if they can answer us truthfully? Like if you had one question to ask a spirit from the spirit world and they could answer you truthfully with full words and everything, but you could only pick one question, what would that question be? It'd be tough. Like if you could only, if you knew for sure they'd answer.
Do
what?
you get most affirming in an investigation?
Say that again?
Bonnie Potter wants to know, when did you get most afraid in an investigation?
Most afraid? The most recent terror I've had was definitely at that Victorian theater at the Ross Opera House. That was definitely by far the most terror I've ever felt. Because when we were in that hallway doing the spirit box session, the live stream had cut out at this point, and I didn't know it. I thought it was still live streaming. But we were just doing regular old FM spirit box through a speaker in that hallway. And I felt like we were going to get killed right there. Even though I was with 2 other people, like, we all felt terror. We felt like someone was gonna come in there and just murder us. It was the most insanely intense, terrifying feeling I've ever felt on an investigation. And it was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that at that theater. Like, usually it's pretty calm, chill, you could tell there's spirits there, but it never feels like terror like that. And later in the night, we split up and did solo missions, and I, of course, picked the hallway and that whole, like, upstairs area. Not a smart thing of me to do, but I picked it. And when I was up there, I was getting EVPs of a man that was just angry. He was so upset, and you could tell, it was like obvious he was super upset. It was just, and then by the second or third recording I played back, a bat comes up the stairs. Mind you, it has to travel all the way across the theater, make 2 hard right turns to get up the steps, and then a hard left turn to go down the hall and swoop down at me. It like found me and just dove right at me. And then as I'm going down the steps, another bat comes just right at me, right at my head. And you can see both of this on camera. I had the full spectrum going. And that's how I saw the bats, because I was filming and I saw it on the camera, and I freaked out. Like, I freak out hardcore. But that's the most terrifying. Even when I've been at places that have like a known demonic haunting, like this private office building I did back in December, I think. Like, I think the demon did this on purpose. He didn't induce any feelings of terror, so that way we would stay, and that way he could drain our energy, because, like, he did that. Whenever you're encountering something that evil, they don't want you to feel terror because they want you close to them. They want to draw you in. So I'm not sure, like, what the terror was at that theater, but God bless if I didn't feel like we were going to get killed that night. Like, it was insane.
Androgynous Apocalypse wants to know, why did you decide to go into ghost hunting, part 1? And part 2 is, do you have the day job also?
So for the ghost hunting, there's been people around me that had been interested in it, like, my whole life, but I never paid much attention to it. I'd see, like, the ghost shows on TV and be like, whatever, you know, like, I never really got drawn into it. But at some point I got an Olympus 4100, just a digital recorder, just a basic silver recorder, because, like, I had had experiences all my life. Like, my first, like, super intense experience was I saw a doppelganger of my grandma in the basement of the house I'm currently in, and I saw her clear as day. My cousin was there, he saw her, we saw her clear as day. Like, there was no question, no mistaking who it was. Like, but and stuff like that happened all my life, like, with just, you know, like little experiences, but I never knew about it until people around me started watching ghost shows and talking about it. So I ended up with this Olympus 4100, and I'm sitting in my room one night, and I'd been playing guitar for a while, and I decided to pick up the recorder and record. So I turned the guitar off, I'm sitting at the edge of my bed, not expecting anything, you know, so I hit record, and I'm asking a couple questions, and all of a sudden, about like two or 3 minutes in, I start feeling this, like, blood pressure drop. You know, like when your eyes kind of black out a little bit, like when you stand up too fast. I was feeling that sitting on the edge of my bed, and I got the tunnel vision real solid. And, like, right before that happened, I asked, what is my name? And then that blood pressure drop feeling happened. And it was so weird because, like, I assumed it was, like, health or medical. But when I played the recording back, right after I asked, what is my name, there's a woman's voice, clear as day, that says Eric Sean Connor. says my whole entire name. And back then, I recorded on the highest quality setting. I didn't have it on SP or LP or even HQ. I had it on XHQ, super high quality, 44.1 kilohertz of sampling rate. Super difficult for spirits to speak over that amount of frequency. But there's a response there clear as day. And check this out. When I went to analyze it on the computer, because I could hear it from the recorder, even the super quiet Olympus 4100 speaker, I could hear it on there. But when I went to analyze it on the computer, I did noise reduction on it, and I decided to just experiment with it. So I did massive noise reduction to where it got rid of all the noise. And where the EVP was, there's a frequency pulse. It's like a loud, like, blip, like super loud. And then when you, so normal without the noise reduction, it says Eric Sean Connor. But then when you noise reduce it, there's this like frequency pulse there. But after that point, I was hooked. Like, I got a spirit box after that, and I just haven't looked back since. And that was almost 3 years ago. That was about 2.5 years ago. But yeah, that's how I got started.
Okay, Paranormal Playground wants to know, have you ever contacted any of your family members?
Well, there's a video we did for Mother's Day where we went to the cemetery to talk to try and reach out to our family members, and we got some of their names, but the only family member I think I've been able to contact is my grandma, and we always call her Gran, G-R-A-N, Gran, because she comes to me in my dreams a lot. Like, I've had different experiences with her since she's passed. I see her in my meditations a lot, but as far as the recordings go, I think it was her that said Eric Sean Connor. I think she knew if she came through on that recording that I would get into this stuff and I would start doing this. I think she's guiding me through this path. And there was one of the first spirit box responses that I got that was an intelligent answer. Was I was sitting on the edge of the bed and I was asking, do you know any of the dogs' names? And a woman's voice comes through and it just yells, Brow. B-R-O-W, like eyebrow. That was the name of my dog who recently passed. And my grandma was alive when Brow was born. So it's feasible for her to be able to know that he's there and know that name because she knew who Brow was. But yeah, so I think I've come into contact with Gran. I don't think I've contacted anybody else though. We got some construction. Hey, can everyone see like out the windshield and see the road and the sky and everything? Dad, are you there?
Yeah. Have you ever experienced first-hand possession? Sarah Sunshine wants to know if you've ever experienced possession firsthand.
If I've experienced it, I've never experienced a full-on possession, like where I got completely taken over, but on numerous occasions I have experienced oppression, where a spirit is trying to take you over and trying to use you. And I felt that very strongly a few times, like when we did the Grim Reaper farm investigation, when I came back that night, something was really, really trying to get a hold of me. Like I was doing weird stuff like at the house, like I can't even explain it, but I took video because I was so freaked out about what was happening. And then of course I did the prayers and the cleansing and got it off me. I went out and got some food too. That always helps, like getting out of the location and eating something. Like I feel like it stabilizes my energy. But I've come close. Oh my God. So at the Ross Opera House, that Victorian Theater investigation, the guy we were with he was going through something as soon as we walked into the door, and I think it might have been the start of something like a possession, because he kept standing at the ticket counter at the front asking for our tickets, and he's never done anything like that before. I mean, he'll joke around and stuff, but it was just strange. And then everything that happened throughout that night, at the end of it, he refused to leave, which was odd. But so I've never experienced a full-on possession, but I've experienced spirits trying to. I've experienced the feeling of them trying to get in and trying to take over, and it's not pleasant. It's really, really odd, because at first, like when you're going through it, you don't realize it, but then when you realize it, you're like, holy shit, is this real? Is this happening right now? It's a trip. It's a trip. I hope no one ever experiences possessions or oppression. It's a weird feeling.
Okay, Anton wants to know where you're going to. What are you shooting for to accomplish tonight?
So tonight, there's a couple things. I have the gateway device tweaked up for this location specifically. I've got the FM and the AM in the microphone. I'm going to see if we can establish further contact. Also, one of the big parts of this investigation, the reason the people that work here invited me back, is because they've now got access to the other buildings. So there's a main building and then a couple other buildings. And the other buildings, everyone claims, is way more haunted. And it's possibly because no one's been allowed in there for a long time. It's been closed off. Even after the main building opened back up to investigators, the other buildings remained closed off until this year, or either this year or last year, but until recently. And so they invited me back to go investigate these buildings. And so I want to figure out what's in these buildings, because they know for sure something is there. And I want to figure out if it's good or evil. And I want to see if there's anyone there, any spirits that are from when it was in operation. Because I have a feeling that when a building becomes abandoned, spirits outside or spirits that aren't known to the location come in and take it over. So I'd be very interested to see if we can contact anyone that was a patient there or that worked there back in the day when it was open. But yeah, so the goal tonight, new gateway device, see if it helps the spirits better, see if we can connect better, figure out what's in these buildings, why it's so haunted and more haunted than the main building, and see if there's anybody there from when it was in operation, any spirits there from when it was in operation. Those are 3 main goals. Sub goal, get the cell phone. Like, the reason I got the cell phone, like I was saying earlier, is so that way we can talk to the spirits over the cell phone. So I'm hoping that works.
Mitchell wants to know if he writes, can you ask Eric if he can ask about me again next time? They were asking for help, but I never got a clear answer. That's Mike Mitchell wants to know if you can ask the spirits about him next time.
Yeah, so Mike, your name's come through, like the sessions you've been in, your name's come through a lot. So I don't know if it's referencing you specifically or if they've got a message for you, but I don't mind asking for you. I don't know if any of the spirits at the location will know who you are, but I'll ask tonight too. But when I get back to the office Monday, we can do a session where I ask a couple questions for you. I don't mind that at all, because it does seem like they were trying to get a hold of potentially you. They kept saying Mike a lot, so I'm fine with that. Absolutely, I'll ask about you.
Hey Eric, Proven Demons that signed in, and also we have a question from Starry Night. She wants to know, has the paranormal affected your life in any negative way?
At first, yes, the paranormal did affect my life in a negative way because I was unaware of the dangers of the spirit box and of just communication with the other side. What happened at first, like after I got that EVP and then I started doing the spirit box, I started getting information from spirits that I thought was real, because they would tell me to contact a person and I would look up this person and they were real. Like, they told me to contact a pastor or a minister, and they gave me her name, and she is actually a pastor in Oregon. And so I contacted her, not realizing that you shouldn't do what the spirit box says. But basically, like, when I first started, I went so deep into it, like I wasn't aware that the spirit box and the spirits could manipulate you from outside. Like they could get into your and obsessed with to be obsessed with. So at the beginning, but next I got to take a break from it for a while, doing all my footage, doing additional sessions. I realized that there was an evil entity that was messing with me. That's another thing too. If you ever get anything over the spirit box saying that there's a fallen angel asking for your help, it's a trap. Anytime anyone says that it's a fault, like if a spirit says they're a fallen angel and they need your help, they are an evil entity. They might not be a demon, they might be a demonic associate, but anytime anything like that comes through, it's something evil trying to trick you. And I had one trick me at the beginning, and I'll never let it happen again, I hope. Pray to the Lord on that. But yeah, at first I didn't have a good grasp on it, just because I didn't take enough time away from it to research the effects of it. But it's very important for people, because I see it happen all the time on the internet with new investigators. They'll get some good responses through the spirit box, and then they just go all in. I recommend not doing spirit box sessions every day. Like, I know at the beginning it's hard not to, but at least space it out a day or two in between. Also using other investigative methods, and be sure to go to locations, because you can get communication at your house, but the things you draw to your house aren't going to be as revealing to you as when you're interacting with spirits on location. So, but yeah, it did at first, but I feel like I've got a better grasp on it. I've got a better connection with my spiritual side and with the Lord, which helps tremendously. Like, I wasn't very religious until I got into this and saw how powerful it was. I don't try to push religion on anybody or anything like that, but I do believe in the Lord. I do believe in Jesus, just because of the power I've seen it. Just because of the power of the Lord and of Jesus, I've seen it. I've seen it work. I've seen it in action. But that's something that's helped me too. Everyone will eventually find their spiritual side. It doesn't have to be Jesus. It doesn't have to be Christianity or anything like that. But having a spiritual side, I believe, is very important for being able to maintain your mind and your soul in this line of work. Sorry for the long answer on that one.
Her question about possession, and then Paranormal Playground wants to know, what is your personal belief on reincarnation?
Reincarnation? So, I went to high school with a girl, and she loved the bass player in my band, so she was always around. Like, she was really cool. Like, I liked her. But when she was a girl, she would talk in Russian to her parents when she was about 4 or 5 years old, all the way up till before 10, somewhere around 8 or 9. She would talk in fluent Russian every once in a while to her parents. And she would claim that she was a little boy from Russia, and that she was killed that the boy was killed in the spokes of a wagon wheel, or crushed to death by like a wagon wheel in the street of Russia or something like that. But she told me about all these other big cases of reincarnation where these kids will all of a sudden know foreign languages and be able to explain someone's life from the past. And I don't know if there's any other way to explain that stuff besides reincarnation. Now, I don't think reincarnation happens that quickly usually. I think usually reincarnation, in my mind, would take a long time, so that way your soul wouldn't be familiar and you wouldn't be able to reach back to that point in time where you were previously. But I think sometimes it happens very close together, and that's when you get those instances of the kids being able to recall their past life. Which honestly, like, I don't know fully. I've only heard stories, I've only heard people talk about it in different cases, but I'll just put it this way. I believe reincarnation is definitely possible, and it probably happens. Did you say Andrew was on Proving Demons? What's up, Andrew?
I'm reading through chat trying to get to the next question. Give me a second. Okay, got one from Star, and she says, question. The paranormal doesn't do many seances. Would you consider conducting a seance?
I would love to conduct a seance. I need to study how they're done correctly first. I've gotten a general idea. I've seen people do seances, but I would like to really study the people that did them the best and figure out what they did and see if we could replicate that. Because I know seances work. It's a way of neutralizing your energy so that way you're not aggressive towards the spirits. That way they don't feel like you're in any kind of dominant position. It also helps by opening up everyone's mind, focusing on one thing. There's a lot of benefits to doing a seance, but I just haven't studied it enough to feel like I could perform one to the degree that would be effective for our purposes. But I would love to do a seance. I'd love to study the masters at it, see what they did, see what worked, because it definitely works, especially in a group setting. It works really well. Good idea, Starry. I like that.
All right, Bonnie Parker says she wants to bring up the positivity. And so she says, Eric, what was the funniest thing a spirit ever said to you on EVP or Ghost Box? Like, did you ever have a conversation with a spirit that cracked you up?
I've gotten a lot of funny stuff on the spirit box, that's for sure. Just actually in the last two sessions, in the last two sessions, the word penis has come through crystal clear. And the session before last, someone caught it and mentioned it. But it's hilarious because when I have it on full reverse mode, there's no way that word should come through. So you know when it comes through, or any vulgarity, you know that a spirit is doing that on purpose, which someone made a post about this online. But I believe the spirits that are human spirits that don't have any kind of demonic association, I believe they have a really good sense of humor, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be able to exist between planes effectively. They wouldn't be able to withstand the energetic and emotional pull. But I've gotten a lot of funny stuff through the spirit box. A lot of it being vulgarity and stuff like that. Sexual innuendos. I've gotten female spirits that say, I just want you to F me, like over the spirit box. Just hilarious stuff like that. Found some funny stuff on EVPs too. But when something like, when the word penis comes over the spirit box so clear, it's hilarious. Like it makes me laugh every time it happens.
Okay, this is another one from Bonnie Carter, and she says, Eric, why don't you talk with a southern accent, and can you say something in it for us?
I don't talk in a southern accent? I thought I did.
Not.
I'll try and get that southern drawl out more. Like, what should I say? Like, what do you want me to say? I don't know how to do the southern accent.
Tell everybody the iced tea's ready. Come on inside.
Iced tea's ready. Come on inside. Is that?
That's a pretty good try. Okay, Mike Mitchell wants to know, you play console or PC?
Well, I've done both. I've always had a PlayStation. I haven't played my PlayStation. I have a PS4 right now, but I've literally not played it in over 2 years. I haven't even turned it on in over 2 years, just because I've been so into this stuff. My friends use it though. When they come over, they'll play it. And we've used it to browse the internet and watch YouTube before too. But usually I use like the PlayStations. I did do some console or some PC gaming, but not very long. I did find a really cool, there's this old game for the PlayStation, and there was one for the 64, but mainly for the PlayStation, called Command & Conquer Red Alert. Well, there was a handful of Command & Conquers, but Red Alert and Red Alert Retaliation were my favorites. But they made a first-person Command & Conquer MMO game where it was like 12 on 12, and some were 20 on 20. and you would build stuff. Like it was so cool, and someone had homemade it. It was a homemade game, and it got pretty big, but it was a lot of fun. That was probably the funnest PC gaming experience I've had. I did play, like, there's different free MMOs like Silk Road, and then I played EverQuest for a little bit, but I never got really into any of the games on the PC. And the only game I really got into on PlayStation besides like Mortal Kombat was like Fallout and Skyrim. Skyrim is amazing.
Androgynous Apocalypse wants to know, what are your thoughts on Ouija boards?
So, I've got a lot of thoughts on Ouija boards, like a whole lot. Let me start off with this. The Ouija board started in a dispute, like, already. So you know how there's like there's the company that made it, and then like William Fudd's name's on it. So the creator of it contracted these brothers to make the board, and then the brothers stole the idea from them, and then somewhere along the way the factory burns down. Like just the Ouija board starting was an insane experience. Ouija boards, I guess they're over 100 years old at this point. People have believed that they contact spirits for a long, long time. And one of my first ever spirit contacts attempts was when I was in I was either in 5th or 6th grade. And my cousin had recently passed in a car wreck. And we were in his old room using the Ouija board. And it was moving. It was me and one other person. And it was moving. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, as a kid, I'm like, there's no way this is possible. There's no way this is happening. And so we're getting answers. It wasn't my cousin who had just passed it. The spirit said it was someone else. And as we're talking to him, the light bulb above us in the ceiling light fixture explodes. It shatters into pieces. And it goes everywhere. And, like, of course, I'm screaming. We run upstairs. Just absolute insanity. The next time we used the Ouija board, same house, same room, same basement, the power went out to the house, and it stayed out for a couple hours till like 4 a.m. So I've had experiences with the Ouija board. I've seen people have like bad experiences with them. The Ouija board, I don't know why, but somehow it has a direct link to dark entities. Like, I'm sure that it's possible that like normal human spirits can come through, but it's not common. You don't hear about it. Like, you hear about the dark entities that come through that board. They have somehow taken over that line of communication in an impressive manner. I'll admit I'm impressed with how much control they have over it. Also, if you notice, certain people, the Ouija board will not move at all. Like Zach Bagans, Ouija board does not move when he uses it. But like, there's like at the Exorcist house when they tried to use it, didn't move. On the episode like a month and a half ago when he met up with Darren, the Zozo demonologist, Ouija board didn't move. It never moves that I've seen. When Zach uses, there's just certain people it doesn't respond with, but I know it responds to me. I'm a little bit timid of it because of that. Also, all the locations I go to ban Ouija boards. The farm I was at, Revenant, they've got Ouija boards banned. Every place I've been to except the Victorian Theater. That Victorian Theater, they do allow Ouija boards, and there's actually one there in the building. They're the only place that I know that allows it. Everywhere else I've ever investigated has strictly said no Ouija boards. So there's something to it. There's a lot going on with it. I think one day we'll be able to figure out exactly what happens to the boards after they're made. I don't know if you've all seen this, but Greg and Dana Newkirk from Week and Weird HQ, they've been scanning haunted objects in 3D scanning, three-dimensional scanning of them. And these objects give them tons of trouble. Like Billy the Idol gives them so much trouble. It took a lot. It took like 30 hours or something like that for Billy to agree to be scanned. He was putting out an oblong blob of energy that was blocking him on the scanner, and he was flipping the image. He was doing some crazy stuff to it. And then they scanned this mask, this haunted mask. And once they finally got it to scan, it melted their 3D printer. The 3D printer melted. So there's something with the 3D scanning, the data of the spirit, the data of whatever haunts these objects can be scanned. It can be scanned and transferred via this spirit in long answer.
Okay, we're buffering right now.
Oh, did it get any of that? Joe, did it get any of that?
I believe most
Yeah, I must be in a dead spot because your phone's cutting. I'm on 2 different networks and they're both cutting out.
You could give me a second. I'm going to try to find my spot. But one of the questions that I saw, I don't recall who asked it. I think it was Boo. Said, do you think that animal companions, pets, and that sort of thing are reunited with their owners after they've both passed?
Am I not buffering anymore? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, so Boo, that's a great question about the pets. Like if they reunite with us once we pass over. So one of the spirit box sessions I did recently, the spirits said that they have pets. They have pets there, and they said that they had was it puppy? I can't remember if it was puppy or kitty, but they said they had one with them. And then I caught that picture of that ghost dog at Posttown Elementary School. So I believe there are spirit animals, or some spirits that choose to take the shape of animals or keep their shape of being an animal in the afterlife. And I do believe that we reunite with them. And I think what happens is while they're waiting for us, maybe they roam around, or maybe it's hard to say, because just like with kids, I'm assuming that when kids pass, there's people there to take them to the light quickly, to get them out of harm's way. With animals, I'm assuming it's the same way, because it's super, super rare to capture any kind of spirit animal or anything like that. I think they move on rather quickly. I think the photo of the puppy I captured at Posttown Elementary, I believe that might have been a dog that passed recently, or it might have been residual. I don't think I'm leaning towards a recent passing, because the dog is looking right at me. Like it's looking right at me in the camera. Like when you look at the photo, it looks like it's looking at you. So if it truly is, then that shows intelligence, meaning it wouldn't be residual. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I do believe we reunite with them. I hope and pray we do. There's a lot of my pets I would like to reunite with. So I'm pretty certain we do. I don't see any reason why not. And the spirits have verified that there are spirit animals, and that animals do cross over into the same plane that they do. So Boo, I think we'll be with them again.
Our Sunshine wants to know, she's got a loaded question. Do you believe there is anything in the apps available to download that claim to, quote, contact spirits beyond the grave?
Loaded question. All right. So thank you for the question, though. It is a good one. It's on a lot of people's minds. A lot of big videos with the apps. So I've had success using some, but I feel like that success is only because of Frank. Frank's able to take over any device and make it happen. And maybe he's able to prepare the situation. I don't know. But the only apps that I would fully recommend are the apps that are actually ghost boxes, live streaming ghost boxes. Steve Holte has a couple, and so what this means is he's live streaming an audio feed of a spirit box that's running at his house. So it's an actual running spirit box pulling energy from the air. Granted, the box itself is at his location, but numerous investigators have proven that you can use a spirit box in an alternate location and get responses, but we're not completely sure where the responses are coming from in that instance. But I would only recommend the apps that are actual ghost boxes. The ones that have the banks of words, they do work. I've seen them work, but they don't work as often or as clearly. Now, that's not to say that eventually they'll get to the point where they do. And I want to thank, if there's any app creators that watch this at some point, I want to thank you all for making these apps, because any ITC device is going to move us forward. Whether it's banks of words, scanning radio, internet radio, police scanners, whatever it is, any creation for ITC will help move us forward in some way or another. But yeah, my recommendation is to get the ghost box apps, the ones that actually scan radio. That's my recommendation. I prefer radio just because it's actually pulling something from the air. It's actually tuning into the frequencies that exist in the air, frequencies that have been proven to be able to be talked over. So that's what I'd recommend. But whatever you find that works is what is going to be the best thing. But definitely the scanning apps, the radio apps is what I recommend.
Adams wants to know, what year did you start getting into the paranormal?
What year? I guess it was late. Yeah, it was very late 2014. It was November, December 2014 is when I got my first pieces of equipment. Oh, there's a car pulled over. The recorder, it was an Olympus 4100 set on that ridiculously high sample rate, like 40 EVP name, Sean Hunter on that time, and I've never spent more and more, but since then. Pretty recent, I'm pretty new to all this. I'm still like not even 3 years all the way in. Haunted, like world. A lot of haunted places they'll use the place for a lot of different things. Like they'll let bands do what?
You're buffer. Hang on a second.
Okay.
It's in and out. It's kind of coming and going right now. It must be a good spot.
Yeah, I'm in the mountains, it looks like. Well, while it's buffering,
you're back on, and the question was from Paranormal Playground, and it was, one, are you in a band, and two, do you think the spirits respond to music?
Paranormal Playground, thank you for the question. I do play music, and I know that spirits respond to the music. I've seen it happen, like whenever you do a performance for the spirits, whenever you do something for them, they appreciate that, and they'll show their appreciation by making themselves known, by saying something, or maybe by manifesting balls of light, stuff like that. So I've seen it work. And yeah, I play, like I jam around, I jam in some with some different people. I used to play music like full time. It used to be like all I did, but that was with some old stuff. Also, check this out. Spicy bugles. Can y'all see that? These are pretty good. They're hot buffalo.
Sunshine wants to know, I think this is back when you were talking about you were using Ouija boards. Did you use a homemade Ouija board or a manufactured one? And do you think manufactured boards are more likely to work than a homemade one? And then the third part of that is, do you think it's possible to contact lost loved ones with a Ouija board?
Sunshine's a great question. We were using a manufactured board, just I think Parker Brothers board or Milton Bradley, something like that. So, oh, I got a really spicy bugle there. Woo! Woo! All right, so we're using a manufactured board. I think something in the manufacturing process enables the dark entities or the spirits to attach to it. Homemade boards will work, but I don't think that they send the same signal out into the world that a manufactured one does. But I've seen homemade ones work, and I've seen homemade ones get good results. So that's just my personal theory on it. I don't know if it's right or not, but I have a feeling that something in the mass manufacturing process creates some type of charge or energy or something like that that causes it to work so well. As far as contacting loved ones on the Ouija board, I would highly advise against it, just because there's a high potential that a dark entity will come through instead. And there's even a potential that they'll try and trick you. I don't know of a surefire way to reach out to a loved one beyond the veil without guaranteeing that it's not demonic interference. However, there are different, like the best way in my opinion to get a clear answer and to possibly have it not be demonic is with the just plain old EVP. It's a lot harder to get stuff with EVP, but it's easier to tell, in my opinion, if it's something like if it's a family member or not. The spirit box recently has got us good results, especially running through the gateway device, but a lot of that's to do with all the positive energy that you all put into the sessions. I have a lot of crosses and crucifixes and stuff that are like in the room, and do a lot of prayers before and after. So I think that's really important. If you go the spirit box route to reach out to someone, but a lot of praying before and after, it's very important that you have the right energy around you and the equipment, or else something dark could come through no matter what you're asking it. But the Ouija board, so let me put it this way, I look at the Ouija board as dangerous. I do look at it as a volatile, it could be my energy, it could be the energy of the spirits that are around at the times that I've used it. But the Ouija board, it's highly flammable, if you will, if that makes sense. So that's my answer. Oh, looks like the phone call dropped. Hello?
Hey, it's me.
Hey, are we buffering?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
I got the next question for you if you're ready.
Hold on 1 second. All right, ready.
Okay, this one's from Bonnie Potter, and she wants to know if you were able to go anywhere to investigate, anywhere in the capital, so anywhere in the world, anywhere to investigate in the world, what place would you pick and why?
Damn, that's a good question. So, I've thought about this a lot. And it's one of the hardest answers to come up with. Let me break it down in areas as opposed to just one specific place, because I would love to investigate Goldfield, Nevada. Oh shit. Fucking hell. piece of tire just fell off and I just hit it. Are you alright, car? Okay. Someone else's tire, not mine. Seems okay. We're okay. We're good. Yeah, so Goldfield, Nevada would be one place. Like, I'd love to investigate the whole town. And then I'd love to investigate the United Kingdom, the entire place. I can't, there's just, it seems like the spirits there are different than the spirits here. Has anyone anybody watching investigated in the UK and over here in the United States? I'd love to know if you've noticed a difference in the spirits and their interactions. Because from watching online videos, it seems like there's a bit of a difference to me, just in manner and style. It could also be different investigative techniques and whatnot, but yeah, Goldfield, Nevada, I would love to investigate. I'd love to investigate. Mainly, I'd like to, like, besides, God, there's so many places I want to go. Waverly Hills would be awesome, but it's pretty close. I've been there before, like on a tour, so I don't know. I'd have to pick Goldfield for now, or check this out. Maybe the old Aztec ruins, investigated in a paranormal fashion, or the Egyptian pyramids, investigated in a paranormal fashion, and see if we can get some of the residual energy to come out, or maybe if there's an intelligent being living in these ruins or the pyramids, maybe they could get us some info that. So it'd be really. I'm waiting for it to stop buffering if anyone can hear me. There's a lot of people in the community that claim the first on things. Which, I mean, understandable. It's understandable to want that claim. Alright, we're in a flat ground here. Hopefully we should reconnect. It's a couple miles of flat ground. Buildings around. Hello! Let me know if we reconnect, because I want to do like a EVP session in the car. Are we back?
Yeah, I believe we're back on video as well. I guess I lost a lot of chat questions I had asked you. If you would just ask her.
Guys, so we've fallen behind on the chat. So if you have any questions that haven't been answered, please go ahead and retype them for me in the chat, so that if y'all can hear, you guys are awesome. This is fun, amazing. I'm so glad you're all with me on this road trip. But yeah, if you have questions that have yet to be answered, please type them in there. We lost a chunk of the chat there, so. All right, I guess we're waiting for the chat questions. While we're waiting, I'm going to do EVP real quick. Is there anyone in here with us? Oh, there's so much noise. Did y'all hear anything? It was too far away from me for me to hear anything.
we've got a question from Paranormal Playground, and it's how far away are we from where we're headed?
I think we're... What time is it? Can you tell me what time it is?
It's about 3:18, something like that.
3:18. So we got about 2 hours before I get there. So we're about halfway there.
All right. So Paranormal Playground also wants to know, will you be streaming all night?
Yes, there's going to be... Oh yeah, that's right, the plan. So there's going to be a handful... There's going to be at least 2, maybe 3 streams tonight, separate streams of the asylum that are going to take place at different times, like one after the other, because I've got a new thing I'm going to test out, and I'm actually going to give you all, like, once I'm going to do a stream at the hotel too, and I'm going to test it at the hotel first, so that way you all can know what's going to happen. It's so exciting. I'm so excited to try this. I don't know if it'll work, so that's why I'm not putting out too many details yet, but if the test goes well, then you all will be in for a treat. But the stream itself will probably, the nighttime stream, will probably start around a little after 10. There's a tour that they're going to take me on first so I can get familiar with the buildings. But part of the reason I'm not going to stream the tour is because I don't want to influence any of the energy that you're all getting from the video. I want it to be like a clean slate for you guys, so that way anything you're feeling or sensing or experiencing, that way you can put it through chat, and that way it won't be filtered through what they've said. It'll be just pure what you're feeling and sensing. Also, if you have a flashlight, a candle, an EMF meter, get those things ready. When we do the nighttime stream, cut the lights out, light the candle, get your flashlight, get the EMF meter out, and join me on this adventure. I know it sounds silly and cheesy, but I've done it with different, like, TV shows even. I've done it with Ghost Adventures. I've done it with a bunch of people who do the exploration videos. Like, it does, when the lights are out and you've got your EMF meter and flashlight, and in my house, the EMF meter will go off sometimes. So it feels like I'm investigating and exploring with them in the moment.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I was going down a hill pretty fast. I had to slow down for a second. But yeah, if you have some equipment, flashlight, EMF meter, definitely bring it to the stream tonight.
All right, Sarah Sunshine says, hey Eric, do you think the use of download app ghost boxes can bring dark forces out, as I've used them without question, and during the scanning, a lot of obscenity seems to be spoken.
Wow. So if you do get obscenities, then you know for sure there's something manipulating the audio, which that's a good thing because you're connecting, but it could be dark. I see where you're worried there. So, oh yeah, can they hear the question? When you ask the question, can you all hear it on the stream? So I'm answering Sarah's question about the ghost box scanning apps, and she said that obscenities come through it. The obscenities can be a good thing, like I was saying, because you know for sure something's manipulating the audio. But in order to get like the positive spirits, the good energy, it's just going to take getting the environment and getting yourself into a certain state. Because like if you just, without any like prayers or meditations or anything, if you just turn on equipment, it's real easy for a dark force to get a hold of it. But if you do some prayers or some meditations, if you, especially the chakra alignment meditations, that kind of thing, if you do that stuff beforehand, it'll clean up a lot of the communication. Also, I'm sure you all have noticed recently that on my spirit box sessions, we don't get nearly as many helps as we used to. And that's because I do a light session and a meditation session before I start the streams, where I attempt to move any spirit onto the light, and then I ask if any spirits refuse to go to the light and refuse to take help, that they not, speak over the box anymore. And what this does is, if there's a spirit that needs to move on, it'll help them. And if there's spirits that are trying to mess with the box or any dark forces just trying to imitate the word help over and over again, we can get rid of them that way too. But yeah, definitely prepare for your sessions. Like, if you're going to do just like a 5-10 minute session, take at least 60 seconds to say a quick prayer, maybe close your eyes and focus on your different chakra points throughout your back, or just meditate, or just sit in silence and focus on what you want to happen during the session. And that'll help kind of guide it, direct it, and it'll make it a little more, it'll point it in the direction that you want it to go. Cutting in and out on me. What was that?
What does she think about what you do?
What does she think about what I do? Who was it? Can you say that again? Disconnect. I guess we're still streaming. What was the question?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. I lost the call right after I asked this, so I don't know if you answered it already or not. But Christy Cheney said, "Eric, do you have a girlfriend? If you do, what does she think about what you do?"
So, I don't have a girlfriend currently. I just got out of a relationship, a long one. But in my experience, there's girls that are completely scared of the paranormal, like it, and for good reason, raised different ways and just different thoughts on it. And then there's girls that just don't like it. And then there's girls that are very much into it and very curious about it. So, in my experience, it's been pretty much a split, like a three-way split, either into it, scared of it, or don't care for it. Hey, when you ask the questions, are they able to hear the questions that you're asking, like on the stream, on the camera? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, next question. Do you ever drive in the right lane? Boo Roscoe wants to know if you ever drive in the right lane.
If there's nobody in the right lane, then I'll drive in the right lane.
I'm looking for another one. Okay, Sarah wants to know, are you going to try the Ouija at the hotel?
I don't have a Ouija board with me, but I've considered getting one and using it. It is on my to-do list, but as of now, I don't have one. So, but I will be testing something really cool at the hotel room that I can't wait to see if it works or not.
Wants to know what time is the stream, and he's from Chicago.
What's up? So, it'll be a little after 10 p.m. Eastern time. So I think Chicago might be Central time. So that'd be 9 Central, I believe. Oh, guys, check this out. On the stream Thursday, on Thursday's stream, we asked the spirits, like, did they know? We asked them something about the stream. Like, I asked them, like, did you know when I'd be streaming here? Did you know I'd be did you know I'd be doing a session here? And the spirit box goes 8, and then another voice says Central, 8 Central time, which that is the time that my stream starts. It's 8 Central, 9 Eastern. That's how the time zones work, right? So it was cool. The spirits knew what time I'd do my streams, but they use it on Central time. Or that group of spirits did anyways. But yeah, for tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central.
All right, Bonnie Potter wants to know, has an entity ever given you a vision or a premonition, and did it come true?
I don't think I've ever gotten a vision or a clear premonition that's come true. I have seen things and talked to different, like, when doing my meditation sessions is when I get the clearest, like that kind of clearest contact, where I'll see like Gran and spirit guides and stuff. And the only thing that they've ever told me concretely, like, is to use infinity in my experiments. That was literally the phrase that I got during one of my sessions, was to use infinity during my experiments. But as far as premonitions go, I don't think I've ever had a premonition. I'm trying to think. I've had deja vu, of course, before, but...
West Virginia.
Nice. But yeah, I don't think, I haven't had a premonition that's come true.
All right, Sarah Sunshine wants to know, is the hotel a specific place to do paranormal investigation? I guess she's saying it, has there been paranormal activity there before?
Great question, Sunshine. So it's not known as like a investigated place or a haunted place. It is right next to a cemetery, though. And last time I was there, I caught an EVP on my camera that said hell yeah. It said hell yeah, like clear as day. Oh, there was a cop up there, like, with his radar going out. That was scary. Thankfully I wasn't speeding though, so not a big deal.
All right, Paranormal Clowns wants to know if you're going to stop at McDonald's.
No, I already got some snacks. But there is some fast food next to the place I'm going. Oh, check this out. There's a free breakfast with the hotel, which is nice. Is the camera still up? Yeah, okay. The camera just shook a whole bunch.
Starry Night, and I don't know if she's talking to you or if she's talking to somebody else in the chat, but she asked, how can I message you? And even if she's asking somebody else, how would people get in touch with you if they wanted to ask questions or leave you a message? What's the best way?
The best way to contact me is epicinvestigates@gmail.com. So Epic Investigates, just spelled normal, all lowercase, however you want to type it out, @gmail.com. That's definitely the best way. Or the Facebook group, Epic Investigates Paranormal, the Facebook group. And I have a account on Facebook. It's a green profile photo right now, Eric Connor. Facebook's another good way. But yeah, Facebook and Gmail.
Got another question. She wants to know, have you ever seen a ghost?
Yes, I have. And on the one of the more recent investigations I did, the Post-Town Elementary School, I was in this room called the doll room. And the reason it's called the doll room is because it's like a double-sized classroom, like one of the big, long classrooms, chalkboards on the walls, and then just dolls everywhere. There's dolls in the middle of the room, there's dolls all along the wall, and then there's a shelf that's like 2 stacks of dolls all along the walls, and it's all kinds of different dolls. It's like beat up old dolls, new dolls, dolls with their eyes open, dolls with their eyes closed, dolls with just like stuff all over them, just super creepy. And they're all different sizes. There's really big ones, there's little ones, and they're all facing you, and they're on all the walls. Like, it's not just like one wall or anything. The walls are filled with dolls. And so I was in there, and I had the spirit box going through my gateway device, and the spirits say, turn it off, please stop, please turn it off. And so I was like, wow, all right, I'll turn it off for you, but it's coming through so clear. And then as I looked over at the camera and said, because it's coming through so clear, and then I turned back around, and there's a woman walking towards me, like walking right at me, not just standing there, not just in the room, she's walking right to me, like she's gonna run into me. And it's a all white figure. It was like just all white. There's like no color, but she was walking, long hair. And at the very first thing I thought, because she was like a skinny girl walking right at me quickly, I thought it was Nikki from Nikki Paranormal. I thought it was her, but quickly realized that it wasn't. Like, and you can see, like on the video, you can see my reaction, because at first you can tell I think it's a person, but then when I realize it's not, I'm like, oh God, like I start freaking out hardcore. All right, entering a construction zone. I need to get over real quick. Is the camera angle okay? Because I hit it, or like I went over a bump and it changed it a little bit. I guess the phone call's disconnected. I know, it's still up.
Sarah also wants to know if you've experienced hauntings or ghost sighting or any direct communication with the visual entities, like, you know, you saw something and were able to communicate without devices.
So, it's hard to say, because whenever I've seen something with my own eyes, I always turn on a recorder or a spirit box, and there are responses that come through. Now, I'd be willing to bet that the immediate responses, or the responses right before you see the entity, are of course that entity you just saw. But in those locations, when you're in a super haunted location, multiple entities will always come through whenever there's enough energy present. But yeah, so I have, like, after I've seen something, I have been able to record with the recorder or keep the spirit box going and hear what I think is their voice.
Lynn wants to know, she said, question, you said that you experimented with the paranormal when you were younger. Could you talk about that more?
I didn't, my apologies, I didn't mean experiment. I mean, I had paranormal experiences when I was younger. Like, I saw the doppelganger of my grandma when I was in 5th or 6th grade. I saw her in the basement of the house I'm currently in, and my cousin saw her too. It's not like I just saw it and no one else did. He was down there, and he was much older than I was, and he saw it too, and it was clearly her, like, without question, it was her. And later, when I first moved into this house, I had a dream that I had to go to the basement for something, and I went down there, and I went to the jam room side where I took the live stream that one time. I went to the jam room side with all the music gear, and I walked to the corner, and then I turned around, and there were 2 little girls there. They were kind of chubby, and they were twins, and they were staring right at me, and they were in black and white. The rest of the dream was in color, but the girls were in black and white, and they lifted me up off the ground just with like telekinesis or something, just like with ESP. This is a dream, by the way. This is a dream I had, and I was in the air like screaming, and then I woke up. But there's always been, like, in that house, like whenever I would try and sleep, this is before any of the cleansings or any saging, or before I even knew about paranormal or ghosts or anything, there would always be loud noises at night, like someone was banging on the doors or the windows, and it would happen like almost every night. And sometimes there'd be voices accompanied with it. The craziest experience I ever had before I understood what paranormal was or any of that. Here, I gotta change the GPS real quick, hold on. I want to tell you all this crazy story though, because it happened in the house I'm at now about 4 or 5 years ago. It was the most impactful encounter I've ever had. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm laying in my bed with my dog Brow, and the dream I'm having is that I'm over at a friend's house. It's my friend and me, his girlfriend, and then another girl that came with me. I never met her before. I don't know like who she was, and I didn't know who his girlfriend was. I just knew the friend. I just knew my friend. But we're hanging out in his room, and he gets a call, and someone invites us all out to go eat, to go to dinner. And so I'm like, hell yeah, let's go get some food. And then at that point, all of a sudden I realize that I'm at home laying in my bed, and I've got the covers over me, because I always slept with the covers over me. And I'm like, well, this is weird, like, because I just woke up. I just woke up randomly and immediately, and I was fully awake, and I was aware of it. So I open my eyes, and I pull the covers down, and there's a girl sitting on the edge of my bed staring at me. And she's wearing, like, a pink bathing suit or a pink bra and panties. And she's got, like, longer than shoulder length, curly blonde hair, like blonde, light brown, like mainly blonde hair, and it's real curly. And she's sitting on the edge of the bed, turned back, looking at me. And I was like, oh my God, surely I'm dreaming. You know what? I froze. I literally froze. And my dog, Brow, was staring right at her, and he was frozen too, not moving. So we're both staring at this girl that's sitting on the edge of my bed, turned back staring at me. And so I'm like, I'm dreaming. And I close my eyes, and I don't start dreaming again or anything. I'm like, what the fuck? I open my eyes back up, and she's still sitting there. And so, of course, my heart rate probably goes 400, like, just insane. And she tilts her head, like, as I'm freaking out, she smiles and tilts her head at me. And she's got it, like, tilted all the way. And I thought I was going to die of cardiac arrest. I'm, like, getting worked up talking about it. But she just slowly faded away. Not a quick, just like there and gone. She slowly faded out. And a few seconds after she faded out, probably at least 5 seconds, it felt like forever, but after 5 seconds after she faded out, my dog Brow, he gets up and walks to the edge, walks to where my head is. He always slept at my feet, but after seeing her, he got up and walked to my head and like sat right next to my head in the bed. And even after she disappeared, I was frozen with fear for what felt like an eternity. Eventually, I got up out of bed and I walked around the spot where she was at because I was so freaked out. And I called my dad and I went up to his work because he was working third shift then. And I just stayed the night at his work. I was that freaked out by it. Like, the girl she was so clear, but her face, like, I could see her eyes, nose, and mouth, but I couldn't clearly make them out. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And like, Brow saw her, like I saw her, and there was no like what's it called? There was no change in perception. Like, she was there, she faded out, and I got up and just, I was, you know, like, to this day, it's hard to process, but she was there staring at me, like in pink underwear and blonde curly hair, just staring right at me. But at that point, you know, I didn't know about ghosts or paranormal or anything. I had no idea what that could have been. That was probably in 2013, early 2013, late 2012.
Sarah Sunshine wants to know, what experience was it that you think first inspired you to experiment and delve into the supernatural, and how do you protect yourself?
The first experience, great question. The first experience that got me into it was I had gotten an Olympus 4100 recorder, and at this point, like, I didn't know anything about it, but people around me had started watching like ghost TV shows, and like some friends of mine had been investigating before, so I got one of these recorders. It was like, I got it as like a birthday gift, or yeah, it was a birthday gift. And so after playing guitar for a while, I decided to turn the recorder on, and I'm sitting at the edge of my bed and I'm recording, and about 2 minutes into this recording, I noticed, like, I got that feeling like my blood pressure dropped, like, you know, when you stand up too fast and your blood pressure sinks real quick. That happened, and as that was happening, I asked, what is my name? And I got like the tunnel vision for a little bit, and then eventually I came out of it. And when I played the recording back right then and there, after I asked, what is my name, there's a woman's voice, clear as day, saying Eric Sean Connor, my full name. And not only was her voice on there, the recorder, it has that tiny little crappy speaker, you know. I was able to hear it over that tiny little speaker. I had the quality setting on the highest setting, extra high quality, like 44.1 kilohertz, just insanely high quality, which is really hard for spirits to speak over that high quality of a recording because of the sample rate. But even with all those variables and barriers, this woman said Eric Sean Connor, clear as day. Everyone hears it. Like, when I play it for people, they hear it. Like, there's no, I don't need to annotate it or anything like that, but it's insane. It's loud, clear. It's just absolutely amazing. And that was my first Class A EVP. And ever since then, after that, I got a ghost box, a spirit box, and I just haven't looked back since.
Sarah wants to know, have you ever experienced something so frightening that you felt that you'd never experiment paranormal again?
Not that I haven't experienced anything that terrifying where I wouldn't have come back to it yet. But I will say, when I was doing those sessions, like, I don't know if any of you all have seen the Tommy sessions on my channel, but the Tommy sessions, the very end of it was the start of a demonic oppression I started dealing with because of this evil entity. I don't know if he's actually a demon or not, but he's definitely associated with demons. But he just started coming into my life and fucking up all the, excuse my language, all the spirit communication. And he messed with my mental state real hard. And it took me a long time to realize that this spirit was messing with me. And once I realized it, I felt like ashamed. And I felt so ashamed that I was like, I started questioning, you know, is this worth it? Is this worth it? But instead of giving up on it, I decided to come from it at a different angle. I was taking the approach that, like, all spirits must need help and there's no reason not to help them or work with them. But it made me realize that there are spirits that are just as evil as any regular person is in this world. Like, spirits can be evil just like people can. And to take what they say, to take what happens in the sessions with a grain of salt, because they may not have your best intentions at heart. And even in the Tommy sessions, they talk about the spirit's intentions and whatnot.
Believe in parallel universes.
Parallel universes, definitely. It might explain some of the paranormal activity that we experience. Could easily be a crossover between these parallel universes. Because sometimes we get responses that sounds like there's just someone like living in the house or living at the location, or someone else is also trying to reach us like we're trying to reach them. So I think it's very possible.
I don't know which story she might be talking about, but Sarah said, do you speak to her, Eric?
If she's referring to the girl that was sitting on my bed,
I think so.
I don't know if I've spoken with her directly over the devices or not. I kind of wonder if that's Maxine, the woman spirit that I speak with all the time. I'm kind of wondering if it's her, or if she's like a spirit guide. When I've done meditation sessions, I've reached different women that I wasn't familiar with before that could possibly be spirit guides. So if it's Maxine, then yes, I've definitely been speaking with her. But if it's someone else, then I haven't.
And just for everybody typing questions, it's kind of hard for me to realize what your question is related to. So type a little bit more if you can think to kind of relate it to the story. But Starry Night asked Eric, did she have any light around her? And I might be referring to the sitting on your bed. Did she have any light around her?
She didn't have any light around her. No, she was. It looked just like a regular person. She was probably 5'1" or 2. She was short and skinny, but there was no light around her. She was also, so I had my bedroom door open and the hall light was on, so she was in kind of a shaded spot because the light source was coming from behind her. Everything pointed to there was someone had broken into my house and was sitting on my bed looking at me. But like I said, I couldn't make out the face clearly. Even though I could see her clearly, I couldn't make out the face clearly. But it was it's probably one of the strangest experiences of my life. But no, there was no light around her or anything like that.
Is a spiritual advisor, perhaps, Eric, and maybe the heart of that is, now that you've had time to process the woman's on the bed, what conclusions have you come to? And I think you said Maxine is that would be. But
here's a good point. That's a great question. So it could easily be a spirit advisor, and I think it might be Maxine because Maxine always comes through in a slightly robotic tone. You can tell when she takes the different audio sources and manipulates it, but her pure voice, her EVP voice, and a lot of the times on the spirit box, it sounds robotic, partially robotic. If there was robotic AI or synth, she sounds like that. And when the girl on the end of the bed, when she smiled at me, it was the most mechanical, unnatural smile. And I could tell that she was genuinely trying to smile for some reason, but it just looked and felt unnatural. And the way she cocked her head was also mechanical in nature. So I really feel like that it could be Maxine. It could easily be Maxine.
Right, Fred Sylvester said, stop letting go of the wheel. You're driving him to have an OCD heart attack.
Hey, Fred. Fred, you crazy.
All right, Paranormal Playground says, Eric, have you ever read about near-death experiences? If so, what's your thought on them?
So I've actually read and watched a lot of the near-death experience videos, and I think it helps to validate a lot of the stuff that we do in the paranormal field. The one thing that I advise when going into the near-death experiences is to be mindful of what the video presenter is trying to influence you to think. So there's a lot of people that'll use a near-death experience to try and make you believe in their opinion instead of just giving you the actual experience. So just be mindful of that. Most of the time it's not a big deal, it's lighthearted, but a lot of people have had near-death experiences where they've seen the light, see the angels, everything's good. But then some people have the near-death experiences where they see demons, like actual demons coming for them, attacking them, like, gives me shudders to, like, the one guy in the hospital where, like, all of a sudden the, like, nurses turned into demons and started attacking him, like, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. But the near-death experience is something that more people should be aware of, in my opinion, just because, like, there's a lot of people that can go through life without getting in touch with their spiritual side, and I did it for a long time without having any spirituality or spiritual side, and it's a rough road not being in touch with any kind of power beyond yourself or within yourself. Like, spirituality is important as a human. I believe in the near-death experiences are a good way to get someone, like, in touch with those near-death experience, like videos and articles are a good way for people to become more open to their spiritual side.
People, kind of arriving and all that. So, you got your question. Where are you going to? Maybe briefly recount where you're driving to and how long do you get there?
So we're about an hour and a half away. I'm going to a huge abandoned insane asylum. I've actually got some new gear for this investigation. So there's going to be at least 2, maybe 3 different streams tonight, and they'll all be, like, in order. There's not going to be, like, long breaks between them. But the reason being is because I've got some new gear to test out. Some really, 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 really cool gear. And hopefully, I'm going to do a test at the hotel. If it goes smooth, then we're going to use it at the insane asylum. Oh God, oh God. Did you all see that? They almost wrecked. They almost riggedy wrecked themselves right there. Woo! Alright, I'm going to hang back for a second. But yeah, so on my way, about an hour and a half, got some crazy experiments lined up, new tech. I've got 2 gateway devices with me. One can house FM, AM, and the microphone. So I'll have the AM, FM mic box, and then the other one is the one I debuted the other night, Thursday. So I've got both of those with me. I've got the mobile SLS Connect camera. I've got that with me, and I brought everything. I put everything into a tote and just brought it, and I'm going to sort the backpack stuff out when I get there. But what was the other part? Oh yeah, so the stream will start around 10 p.m., maybe a little after 10 p.m. Eastern time. The first one will. And like I said, that one will probably go for 1 to 2 hours. And then there will be a second one, and the second one might go all the way to 4 a.m. I might split it up into 2 separate streams. I might separate out a stream just for 3 a.m. at the abandoned insane asylum, just so that way it's easier for people to digest the content later. But yeah, I've got my recorders with me. I brought everything. I brought everything I got, and I got to condense it down all into a tiny little, like, biker backpack thing. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm so glad that you all are taking this road trip with me. Hello to everyone that's coming in and going. But yeah, if you got any questions at all, feel free to ask. I don't mind re-answering or repeating answers. Like I said, I still got like an hour and a half to go, so I don't mind at all.
This is in reference, I think, to sitting on the bed says, do you think that was your spirit guide? Part one, and then part two is, or do you believe you have a spirit guide?
So I definitely believe that I've got spirit guides, and I'm pretty sure that I've got a feeling that the woman, the girl on the bed was Maxine, and she's, I like the phrase spiritual advisor. I don't know if she's like actually a spirit guide, like she's been appointed the role by some guide association in the spirit world, but she's definitely a spiritual advisor. She is protective. I don't know what to think about her, like, because I don't have a clear idea on like what happens in her world, but she has helped me tremendously. And if it was her on the edge of the bed, I don't think she meant to scare me the way she did. It was just, I think it was her trying to desensitize me to her presence, and I think she was trying to do it like as quickly as possible, and that was the way she felt best to do it. But yeah, definitely got spirit guides.
And Kate says you never answered the question about how do you protect yourself.
Oh, so how do you protect yourself? So me personally, I use a lot of prayers, and I've found that the Mitcom for David, I think it's Psalm 16, that one, and I use the New International Version for that prayer specifically, but that prayer helps tremendously. There's also a set of there's a prayer that's made out of different phrases from the Bible, and it's like how to banish negative entities using biblical phrases. I've got it bookmarked on my phone. I'll post it on the Facebook group or in the comments, but it's worked really well. It is like, if you feel like there's something trying to attack you or get to you, if you use this with force, like if you say it like you mean it, you can feel it as you're saying the words. You can feel it. I don't know, it's really cool, and I'll share it with you guys, but it works for me. Also, I've used holy water, sage, and salt. All of those work. The spirits like Maxine and Frank, whenever I was clearing out the demonic entity or demonic associate named Nick, whenever I was cleaning him out of the house, Frank and Maxine told me, like, I had done the salt, I did the holy water, and I was like, guys, should we do the sage? And they were like, yes, please, sage, like over the spirit box, clear as day, saying sage. So sage works really well, and if you've ever smelled sage, maybe it's just me, but sage is one of those items in our world that has an otherworldly smell. It has a smell like, it smells like we're going to smell it even in the afterlife. Same with coffee. There's a handful of things that have that like forever kind of smell, and sage is one of them. Like it reminds me of just somewhere else. Like, I don't know. But sage is powerful. Salt will work if you feel like there might be negative energy creeping in and you just want to get it out. Putting a bowl of salt in each of the four corners of your house will get that done. But if there's an actual entity that's trying to attach or latch on you, or it's been attacking you for a while, definitely go the sage route. Definitely do prayers too. I think prayers work wonders. For me anyways, they work really well. Oh, also, as far as protection goes, I always wear the Archangel Michael pendant, the Saint Michael. I always wear that. He's on my t-shirts, but I think that makes a difference.
You says, how many famous people have talked to you in your spirit boxes?
Well, it's hard to say. I don't try to reach out to celebrities, or I try not to claim that anyone is a celebrity or not if they come through, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. I have no idea. I haven't tried to reach out to any specifically.
Is similar to the other ones from Kate, but this time she's asking specifically, how do you protect yourself from demonic spirits latching onto you?
Sage, prayer, salt, and prayer. I said prayer twice for a reason. So if there's a demonic entity latching onto you, you if you have holy water, use it immediately. Put it in a cross on your forehead, sprinkle it on you, like whatever you got to do. Put it on your neck. That's a good place to put holy water. And then sage yourself and sage the area. And all while you're doing this, be sure you're saying powerful prayers that's rebuking any evil. And you've got to mean it. You have got to mean it. You've got to understand, like, whichever religious prayer you go with, you've got to understand the power behind the words of the prayer. So it especially helps, like, if you understand, like, if you believe and if you feel the love and the power of whatever God you believe in or Jesus Christ, then the prayers are way more effective. But even if you have to use the prayers out of necessity, let's say you're not a full believer, but a demonic oppression or even partial possession starts happening, if you call out to God, if you call out to Jesus Christ, they will still help you. So that's been my experience. But whatever you believe in the most is what you need to go with in order to get rid of a demonic entity or a demonic oppression.
No, are your parents interested in the paranormal?
Yes, they love the paranormal. They are all about it. Well, let me put it this way: they like it, but it does scare them a lot, which is understandable. It's a very scary thing. It is one of those things where it's like, I'm really glad they're supportive of it. Like, I thank my lucky stars every day for that. But it does scare, like, if I don't know if you've all seen the cell phone video with the call. That phone call where those voices are coming over the phone, like, so loud and clear and crazy sounding, that still freaks my mom out to this day. Which, I mean, it's a freaky video. It's a freaky phone call. Like, understandable for her to be scared of it. But, yeah, they do like the paranormal. It does freak them out, though.
C-Star wants to know, do you ever worry the spirits, maybe a bad one, you may bring into this world?
I've seen that from a handful of different people when I've been on investigations. Like, we'll be in, especially when we had the Black Mirror thing going. I'm not super worried that they'll cross into the world physically, like with a physical manifestation. It does worry me sometimes that maybe they'll get up enough energy to exist for a longer duration within our world. But the thing that freaks me out the most is when there's, like, obviously a dark entity that's come through on the box in my house. Like, it's hard, like, when you're talking to these invisible creatures, invisible beings, you can never really know what you're bringing through or what's going to come through. So it is a little worrisome, but I do prepare my sessions in a decent manner, in a pretty well manner, where I do the prayers, the meditations, get my energy right, and then I try to get the energy around the equipment right. And usually that helps. It helps a lot. I'm definitely going to prep at the hotel room for sure for tonight. I'm going to have to. But yeah, it is worrisome.
If you'll take your hands off the wheel and wave.
Who?
Potter.
Oh. Hi, Bonnie.
Okay, so what do your parents think about your interest and activity with paranormal, Eric? And you may have answered that already, but if you got anything to add, I'll look at the next question.
So they're very supportive of it. It does scare them a lot. It does give them the heebie-jeebies. But yeah, it's nuts, especially when it starts happening to them. I've had it to where, like, after doing a session at their house, there was, like, knocks on the door. And that's kind of freaky. Creepy, if you will.
Project Apocalypse wants to know if you have your seatbelt on.
Yeah, of course. I've got my seatbelt on.
in reference to her previous question about bad spirits crossing over, she means in reference to mirrors.
Oh, the mirrors. So with the mirrors, I've had some crazy experiences. So I'll start off with the black mirror. The black mirror stopped communication in my office sessions. And there's multiple spirits saying the black mirror is stopping us. And they said, fight the black mirror, fight the black mirror. Like just all the time talking about the black mirror being an issue. So we moved the black mirror downstairs. And then before the black mirror even, I did the infinity mirrors where I was standing in between two mirrors for a session. And I was drained. I was super drained. And I felt really weird and aggravated at the end of the session. Like I ended it very suddenly and abruptly. So I do think something with mirrors, like they're able to come through the mirrors in a weird way, in a very weird way. So I haven't done the infinity mirrors anymore. I do have two mirrors in the office, but they only overlap at a certain section of the room, and they're not facing each other at all, so they don't repeat or anything like that.
The next question, but Fred, investor, said that you're rock.
What'd he say?
He said you rock.
Oh, thank you, Fred. You rock too. Fred, you rock.
Some folks are talking, there's more discussion about the black mirror and just the kind of concern that you're using that in your session. That's not planning to do.
Oh no, I'm done with the black mirror. Done with the black mirror. I've had plenty of time with it. Like I think I did 2 or 3 sessions with it, and it was more than enough. Like that thing is powerful. That thing is super powerful, and not in a good way.
So Sarah wants to know: do you ask for help from the Archangel, tongue-tied Archangel Michael?
I only ask for help like if I'm going into a dangerous situation. I reserve asking for his help only when I feel it's absolutely necessary. But yes, I do.
Apocalypse said, Eric, can you please post a link to the Facebook group? I'm assuming after you're done driving.
Yeah, I will. I'll post that link. It's a really good, I like it a lot. It's a really good set of phrases from the Bible that works as a really good prayer against evil. So yeah, I'll post that when I get to the hotel room. Oh my God, did you all see that? That Honda's effing up. Oh my God, I gotta get around this Honda, you guys. Hold on. I do not want to be this close to him. Oh, why? Why? Alright, let's try this. Alright guys, I'm almost in the clear. Sorry, I just whenever there's a crazy driver on the road, I feel the need to get as far away from them as quickly as possible. The person we just passed was all over the place. Okay, we're in the clear. We can go back to questions.
So, I lost my face. Your Facebook name is Eric Connor, right?
Yeah,
Green.
Eric Connor, green picture on Facebook, and then the group is called Epic Investigates Paranormal.
Alright, then Sarah says, Eric, in one of my son's YouTube videos, his audio wasn't working. He turned his computer, as his sister called him, and while he's away, clothes hanging. getting hit by an unseen force. I've tried to replicate the effect, and my son swears he didn't fake it. If it was something evil, you think it would have done more than this, and it was about a year ago.
Well, you said he got clotheslined?
I think there was maybe he had a video going, and Sarah, if I'm wrong, you correct me, but he had a video going, and he kind of left the feed to answer the phone when his sister called, and while he was gone, there was some clothes hanging there, and they kind of moved.
Oh,
and
wow.
they tried to replicate it, by walking by it, I guess, sort of stuff, to see if they could replicate the effect. They haven't been able to, and I think the question is, out here, does that seem like it's necessarily evil or supernatural, or what would be your thought on that?
That if it's legit, then it's definitely paranormal, like 100% paranormal. It may not be evil. It could be just a spirit trying to get your all's attention. Like a lot of times, spirits are just trying to be noticed, and a lot of times, I just had one of those spicy bugle things. Oh my gosh. But yeah, a lot of times spirits can't make themselves known to you within a certain distance of you. Like, so they have to do it like when you're not in the room, or just weird stuff. But I don't think it's necessarily evil. There's nothing to go along with it to me that suggests that it could be evil. It just sounds like something trying to get your all's attention. Now, I don't know what for, but definitely something trying to get your attention.
Next one is from Kate, and I don't think she was in the feed when you answered it before, but what is the scariest thing that ever happened to you?
Definitely. Well, as far as scary, the girl, when I woke up in the middle of the night and the girl was sitting on the edge of the bed, I don't know if I could go through that story again. It's so like insanely like creepy and dramatic, like. But long story short, I do a more detailed version probably like 30 minutes ago in this video, but I woke up in the middle of the night and there's a girl sitting on my bed staring at me, and my dog sees her too. My dog is looking right at her, and so I close my eyes thinking I'm dreaming, and I open my eyes back up and she's still sitting there staring right at me. And so of course my heart rate goes through the roof. I start freaking out, and she smiles and tilts her head at me, and the smile was the most like mechanical, unnerving thing, and the way she tilted her head was just like unnatural. But she stayed in that position for a while and then slowly faded away. Slowly, like, and after she faded away, like, I was so freaked out. Like, my dog, a couple seconds after she faded away, my dog gets up and comes to the head of my bed and sits right next to my head, and he never does that. He had always slept by my feet. But yeah, that's the scariest. Now, the most terrifying thing that's happened to me, like on an investigation, was at this Victorian theater. We were doing a spirit box session in this hallway, and it's very dilapidated because a storm had just hit and it tore up the roof. Like, and there was just like chunks of ceiling and drywall and plaster everywhere. But we're doing the session in the dark, in complete dark, complete night vision, and I didn't realize that the stream had cut out. And it's just me and two other people, and we're feeling complete terror. It feels like there's people looking at us and they're coming towards us to kill us. That's the feeling we got, that there were people that were going to kill us right then and there in that hallway. I can't explain it very well, but it was
The
just
left 3 lanes to take exit 59 for I-77 north toward I-79, Parkersburg.
chill, girl. But yeah, so that was the scariest, was the girl on my bed, and then the most terrifying was being at that theater after the storm had hit.
Starry Night wants to know, you have a favorite dinner, like spaghetti, pizza, meatloaf, potatoes,
Favorite dinner? Some favorite dinner would, I don't know, probably, it's hard to say, maybe Taco Bell? No, I'm kidding. I do like homemade tacos. I also really like the Totino's pizzas, those like freezer pizzas. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I like them a lot. Oh shit. Sorry guys, I hit like a patch of traffic. What was it?
Sarah wants to know, what is a black mirror?
A black
In a half mile, use the left 3 lanes to take exit 59 for I-77 North for I-79, Parkersburg.
A black mirror is a piece of tinted glass in a frame. That's all it is. But
Use the left 3 lanes to take exit 59.
the black mirror is known to investigators, it's known to entities.
Continue on I-77 North for 2 miles.
It's known to like dark forces. It's like been a staple in witchcraft and stuff like that. But it's a different way of scrying, and it's usually there's not many good things that come like from a black mirror, but it used to be a way that people would draw spirits out. It used to be like the standard. But my experiences with it have been rather dark, and it's stopped the radio communication. I swear it felt like that the black mirror was absorbing the radio frequencies. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that might not sound like realistic, but I swear that's what was happening. Something with that black mirror was drawing in radio frequency energy, which was making it to where the spirits couldn't talk over it. Because it was one of the few times that I'd ever gotten just nothing from the gateway, and sometimes occasional like radio blips and interference, just
Right
like
at the fork. To
stuff.
continue on I-79 North, follow signs for Clarksburg.
But yeah, so black mirror is just a piece of tinted glass in a frame, like a tinted mirror.
Continue on I-79 North.
So Fred Sylvester says, and this is a loaded question, but
Continue for 98 miles.
Who did you enjoy working with the best? You go hunting. Which team?
Well, I haven't been investigating with a ton of people yet, but I wouldn't say anybody is like the best or the worst, because everyone has different techniques and different approaches. So you get a different experience every time when you're investigating with different people. So I couldn't say any are like the best, but I really enjoyed working with Nikki and Jenna. Like Nikki's been well known in the community for a while now. Excuse me. And she was just like, the energy she brings to it, I think that energy draws spirits in because she's putting out a lot of energy. I think that's very beneficial, very helpful. She's also open-minded, so that helps with any kind of spirit contact and communication. But that's the most recent. Also, when I did the Post Town investigation, Steve Dunn was there, and he's got some like cool techniques, and he showed me some really cool captures. There's just a lot of good people in the community. I am looking forward to working with some more people this summer. Like I was talking about it earlier, but there's a handful of fairly well-known names on YouTube that I'm talking with and working with that are really cool. I know the paranormal community can get a bad rap sometimes for the drama and the BS, but there are some genuinely good people in the community. as long as you stay away from the drama, and I know it's hard, like, it's hard not to get pulled into it, especially, I don't even want to get into it, but there are some really good people, and I'll be working with them this summer, and I'm so excited for it. Everyone has a different technique, and I love it. I love it. Hello? Hello? So, guys in chat, I think we lost the phone call. So check this out. So while we're waiting on the phone, I'll say that the phone I'm using for the phone call and the GPS, I got it today, right before the car ride, called the number from my other phone and activated it over that phone. It's crazy how quick you can get a smart device up and running. So as soon as I got the device on, as soon as I got the device on, I got GPS and phone. Like, it's just amazing. It was $70 total for the phone and unlimited for a whole month. Like 5 gigs of data. It was just amazing that you can do that in this day and age. What's up? Are we back?
Yeah, I'm back. So Kate asked, is there another group too? And I guess she means by that, is there what other groups have you worked with typically or could recommend?
Well, there's a lot. Like, for just getting into this, or ones I've worked with.
Kate, if you can hear me, just rephrase your question and I'll get to it. I'm having a hard time get to the follow-up stuff because I'm so far behind in chat. So if you don't answer it right this time, just retype it and we'll get to it. Is that okay with you, Eric?
Yeah.
All right. So Sarah, same thing for you. She put clothes were hit by an unseen force. I think that's in. She's probably replying to something you were talking about with that video.
Yeah.
But you may have answered it already, so I'm going to keep going, Sarah. If I didn't cover it, just retype it. And I'm looking for another question. I agree that you can't go wrong with tacos.
Tacos is good.
Sarah says, what makes the Black Mirror so disturbing to other people in this chat group?
Well, the Black Mirror is associated with, like, darker beings and entities, and the experiences we've had on the live streams haven't been good. Like, I haven't had like a positive, well-to-do Black Mirror session. Like, it hasn't happened. It's blocked out a lot of the radio communication entirely, and I think it does something to the spirits, or I don't know, but it does not. It hasn't brought any good energy. And that shows how powerful it is. I mean, and the Black Mirror I've got is huge. It's like insanely big. It's truly amazing. It's one of the most beautiful pieces of framed anything I've ever seen.
Said thanks for the answer, and he agreed that Nikki was cool.
Yeah, Nikki's awesome.
And then Sarah said, Black Mirror, to be dangerous, does it need to be discolored? Just regular mirror. I think maybe confused because Black Mirror is typically a mirror that's been discolored. it's more or less glass that's painted black behind it, or that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, a black mirror is made out of black glass. It's not like it's not painted or anything like that. But I think what happens is once you've turned a mirror black, you know, once they say once you go black, you never go back. But with mirrors, I think that's the case. I'd honestly, Sarah, I haven't done like enough research into black mirrors to give you a scientific, or not scientific answer, but like a well-researched answer. I don't have a well-researched answer on why black mirrors invite so much, well, in my sessions, why they invited so much like darkness and why they blocked out communication. Damn, it's a bumpy road. That's another reason, like, to drive in the left lane more. Less bumps.
Kate wants to know, have you ever investigated anything in Massachusetts? And if so, where or what?
I would love to investigate anything in Massachusetts, but I haven't yet. One thing I've noticed is there's a lot less locations listed up in, like, that I've seen so far. I haven't seen many locations in Massachusetts yet. I know, let's see, I'm trying to think of some I've heard of, but I wouldn't mind investigating up there. One of my long-term goals, one of my future goals, is to investigate in every state. And it'll be a little difficult for Alaska and Hawaii, but I would love to do an investigation in all 50 of the states, and maybe one in Puerto Rico too. I think that'd be really cool. I would love to do that. That'd be amazing. But yeah, that's one of my like long-term goals, is to hit one location in each state.
Sarah said, thank you for answering this about the black mirror. Does she need to be concerned about the mirrors in her house and the fact that she also has a Ouija board collection?
There's a lot of, like, with the Ouija board collection, I think you're fine. There's a lot of people that collect Ouija boards and their whole lives that don't have anything like supernatural happen. But with the mirrors, they always say not to have mirrors facing each other because it creates an opening for uninvited guests, uninvited energy. So as long as your mirrors aren't facing each other, and as long as they're not black mirrors, like actually black glass, then I think you're safe. I think you're fine.
Hey, are you in Kentucky or West Virginia right now?
I think we're in West Virginia.
And believe it or not, I'm caught up to the bottom of the chats.
Oh, wow.
So, Christy Cheney said, Eric, would you come to Georgia also?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been to Georgia a few times. I like it.
Kate said, what's your favorite place you investigated?
My favorite. Well, I really, like, some of the most powerful experiences I've ever had are at the insane asylum that we're going to right now. But my favorite, I don't know, I had such a good time at Poasttown Elementary School, and that could have been because of the people I was with and all the people I met there. You know, that could have had a big impact on why it was such a positive experience for me. But, so I'd say probably a tie between where I'm going right now and the elementary school. I'm trying to think, there's like a lot of places I've been to recently. But yeah, Poasttown definitely, and this insane asylum.
Unnormal is back in chat. She says she's reviewing files that's been getting ready for an investigation tonight too.
Nikki, what's up? Nikki, I reviewed some of those EVPs from the farm, and Oh my God! Like when we were doing that experiment with your grandma's like mic and earpiece thing, there are some of the creepiest voices I've ever heard in my life coming over that. Like those EVPs are crazy. I'll have to upload them for you and let you listen to them because there's just some weird stuff that comes over it. It's so I'm like getting chilled out thinking about it right now. That was crazy. That was crazy.
She agrees that everybody should check out Post House for sure. And then Kate said, what's the most active place you've investigated?
The most active? Oh, that's hard to say because there's been a lot of active places recently. I'm trying to think on terms of scale, like magnitude. The place I'm going to now, let me put it this way, the insane asylum I'm going to now, it feels like it's still in operation, everything's still going on, all the patients and all the doctors are there, and we're the ghosts. That's what this place feels like, or that's what it felt like last time. And then, let's see, oh yeah, the Andrew house. I don't know if y'all saw any of those videos from the Andrew house, but I got poltergeist activity there and constant EVPs. Like the last investigation, I got constant EVPs, and the one before that, I got a couple of poltergeist activity things caught on camera. Also, my mom's top floor of her house, like I've had some crazy communication there. Revenant Acres, of course, that place was off the chain. Post Town was super active. I'm trying to think most active. The Victorian Theater is always off the chain, like lit. Wow, I'm trying. Let me think on that for a minute. I gotta answer this. Hey, are we buffering on the stream? Is the stream good?
Buffering on that.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm back on. The phone's good, but my video looks like it's maybe buffering. I'm not sure.
Okay. That'll give me time to think.
Okay, I've been told the video's good.
Okay.
So, do you want to try another question or wait and make sure?
Well, are you still buffering on your end?
It's good.
Alright, yeah, let's
Okay.
do another question.
Androgynous Apocalypse says, do you have any tips for someone who wants to get into paranormal investigation?
Yes, I've got a lot of tips. So, my biggest piece of advice is to not believe what the spirit box tells you at first. Well, let me take that back. You can believe the spirit box, but just don't do anything it asks you to do. Like if it tells you to contact somebody, don't listen to it. If it tells you to do something, don't listen to it. Don't let the spirit box take over your actions. But that's my biggest advice. Don't let the spirit box run you. Don't let it tell you what to do. Second piece of advice, go to locations. Go to public investigations. Because they have tour guides there that are experienced investigators and are familiar with the buildings, and they can help you investigate, get your bearings, figure stuff out. That's probably the second biggest one, is investigate outside of your home. Like, go to haunted places and investigate. There's a lot of places that you can find that are like anywhere from $25 per person to $65 per person. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, see if you like it, and then go from there. Because it's not for everybody. It takes a lot of patience there's a lot of evidence you have to go over. One thing that's helped me, like I'm not the best at evidence review, because what I'll do is I'll review it, maybe find something that's like really cool, and then I'll just store it. Like I'll make a log of it and then never come back to it. That's one of the reasons I started doing the live streams, is because I want to get this stuff out to you guys. I want you all to experience it with me. But be prepared for evidence review. Try and take just the essentials, like a camera, a recorder, and a spirit box at first. And then once you've gotten that stuff down, then start adding equipment. Also, one thing I wish I would have had at the very beginning is a REM pod. It doesn't have to be name brand. You can get the Red Pro, which is really good. It's the one I have. It's like $70. It's like really good. I don't know if it's still on sale or not, but REM pods are fun because they tell you when a ghost is present and they light up and make noise. So like, what more could you want? Like, it's amazing. But yeah, so don't let the spirit box run you. Investigate at public events with, tour guides and investigators, and REM pods. REM pods are fun.
Sarah Sunshine said, "Hi Eric, my son, whom I've referred to, who has caught the moving clothes on camera. His YouTube channel asked for a shout out.
Type his YouTube channel name in the comments so everyone can see it. What's the name of it? Hello? Well, the phone call disconnected, so my chat lifeline is currently disconnected. But guys, I hope you all can see like these hills and mountains and all the greenery and forestry. It's a beautiful day out today. Hey.
Alright, so did you get that last question, that shout out?
Yeah, what's the channel name?
I just have his name, Javon, and let's get down a little lower in the chat and find it. So while we're waiting for that, let's also ask, hey Eric, what does it mean if your bed was pulled by something not seen? Is that demonic that does that, or a spirit?
Was it
whatever it was? I'm gonna have to.
The bed? What was pulled?
You said if your bed was pulled by something not seen.
I've had that experience before. And most of the time, if something's gonna mess with you while you're sleeping or trying to sleep, it's usually not a positive presence. Like it's very rare that a spirit with good intentions will mess with you while you're sleeping. So, man, in that house, the same house where that girl was sitting on the edge of my bed when I woke up and she was just sitting there looking at me, I used to, like, when I would sleep, I used to feel something walking around on the bed, and like something that would, like, you could feel like hands and feet like moving around, and you could hear it. It was like so scary. Like, and that was before, like I said, that was before I knew about the paranormal and ghosts and that kind of stuff. But yeah, usually it's not like, basically, like with that stuff though, they're usually what's called lower realm beings, or lower plane, lower sphere, and they're the beings that you see like when you're falling asleep and you see the shadows moving, like shadow figures with no like definable features. Those are usually lower sphere beings, and you can get rid of them with just some like with some sage and some prayers. You can get them to go away pretty easily. It is freaky though. I'll say it's scary as hell when that stuff happens.
It says our son's YouTube is LEXU5123, and the video is, "Hi guys, sorry about my audio, but I caught amazing evidence of paranormal."
LEXU5123.
Yeah.
That channel caught some like clothes moving in a closet on their own. Y'all go check it out and see if you think it's legit or not.
Eric, when you take contact with spirits, do you feel energy shifts, good or bad?
One more time, can you say that again?
Paranormal Playground wants to know, when you make contact with spirits, do you feel energy shifts, good or bad?
Definitely. And what's funny is the energy shift usually occurs before the communication starts getting real clear. Like you'll feel the energy shift, and then a few seconds later, maybe up to a minute later, you'll start getting like loud, clear responses through the boxes. And yeah, it can go either way. It can go good and bad. Like the Thursday stream, for a moment, like for the first like hour, it felt kind of dark. We all kind of sensed it. And when I stood in the middle of the room, it felt like I was being circled. But then an hour and a half into the stream, that's when we started contacting Sam, the kid. And oh my gosh, you guys, those responses are so clear and loud. And like after we start talking with them, the energy calms down. It feels light. Like that's a good example of a shift in energy based on the spirits that we're communicating with.
Okay, with astral projection, C-Star wants to know, with astral projection, is it true that places we end up in while we are asleep can be real?
Yes, it is, because the astral plane is made up of our perceived notions of reality. So the astral plane exists this is all like how I believe it and how I look at it. I'm not saying it's like concrete fact or anything, but the astral plane, to my understanding, is made up of how we collectively perceive the world. And so if we all collectively perceive the interstate looking the way it does right now, when we astral project, it'll look this exact way. But if we astral project, like some people can go really far with it. They can go like to the moon, they can go through outer space, and they can go around the world. And the way everything's going to look in the astral plane is based on two things. It's based on everyone's perceived reality of it and what you know about it already. So those two things are going to make up what you see for wherever you go. And that's just my understanding of it. I've only been able to astral project clearly and like really powerfully one time. Just one time. And I've tried it a ton, like a whole bunch. And I've only been able to do it where I had full control. I could walk and maneuver and talk and interact with the environment. I've only been able to do that powerfully one time. But ever since then, like that, when you have those experiences, you know it's real. And when you know it's real, it changes your perception entirely.
Eric, I got 6 likes on your stream shows. One time I felt like throwing up, and the second time I had upset stomach. Is that normal? I've never experienced that.
So, I'm sorry you felt ill during the streams, and I do want to say that that specific reaction isn't normal, but people have reacted very strongly to the sessions, and it's because we're all channeling our energy in, meaning that we're also getting energy coming back out, and everyone gets the experience of it. Some people are more highly affected than others. So like where you got feeling ill, someone else might be like, wow, I sense like a negative presence, but for you it's so strong that it can make you ill. A lot of people will have like their computers will shut on and off, the lights will go on and off at people's houses when they're watching the streams. Also, one thing I would really like for y'all to do tonight, if you can, if it's possible, if you have EMF meters, get them out and see if your EMF meter spikes during intense moments of the investigation. Like I have a feeling it will. Hello? Did you say something? I heard like a voice there when we went over that bump.
Was it like a manly voice? It was me.
No, it was like a haha.
No, I didn't say anything.
That's weird. I'll have to go back and listen to that. But yeah, I'm sorry that you were feeling ill for it. I would recommend, like, if you start feeling ill, like tonight during the stream or during the future sessions, say some of the prayers. I'm gonna post them in the Facebook group and in the comments when I get to the hotel. The prayers work really well for me. Also, eventually I'm gonna try and find some reliable sage incense sticks that I can recommend to you all, so that way if anything like that starts coming through your homes or starts messing around at your all's houses, you can burn it real quick and nip it in the bud before it grows into something else. But I want you all to be safe and protected during the sessions, because your all's energy is what makes it to where I can do these insane live streams and where I can connect so deeply with the spirits. It's not just me. I'm just part of it. You know, it's your all's energy, focus, and intentions. It's the spirit world trying to reach out to us. It's the equipment. Like, I'm just one tiny piece of the puzzle. So you guys are a very vital component to the whole operation. Like, it wouldn't be like in our sessions when we do the Monday and Thursday live streams, we wouldn't be able to go nearly as deep if it wasn't for you all. You all make that possible. So I want to make sure that we're all protected, we're all on the same level, same page. And I'm glad you brought that up. Like, there is things we can do to try and help with that, because if it is spirit related, there are things we can do to make sure it doesn't happen, or at least that it doesn't happen to that degree in the future, because we need you there, and we need you feeling good for it. Yeah, that's my answer.
Now.
Oh wow. Hey, that's pretty good. We went like, what, 2.5 hours solid with questions? That's pretty good. I can't wait to show you all. That's gonna be an interdimensional gateway device. Like I said, all 9-volt powered, AM, FM, and microphone. Mobile SLS. Also brought my cameras. I brought 2 full spectrums and a regular camera. I might just take the regular camera. I'm trying to go as lightweight as possible. Don't want a lot on the backpack. I'm trying to go easy on the back. So we got a long, it's gonna be a lot of walking, a lot of moving around. Also the cell phone experiment. So I think the phone disconnected. There's some message on there. But I'm gonna do the cell phone experiment at the insane asylum with one phone in the top floor of my mom's house and then another phone at this insane asylum. Hello?
Hey, I've got another question.
Alright.
So Sarah Sunshine wants to know, Eric, have you ever experienced sleep paralysis?
Yes. If I sleep on my back, I experience sleep paralysis and night terrors every time if I sleep on my back. And it's terrifying. So, but the best way to cure that is to sleep on your side. Also, do not eat any sugar within a few hours of going to bed. I've found that consuming sugar before my sessions makes it to where I'm able to connect more clearly and for a longer duration. But if I eat sugar before I go to bed, I have a much higher chance of having night terrors. So I think something with sugar, something with glucose and how the brain works, I think it aids in the spirit communication. But I can't say that for sure. I do know for sure that it does affect night terrors and sleep paralysis. So if that's something you're going through, cut out all sugar within like at least 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. And also, sleeping on your side will help cut out the night terrors and the sleep paralysis too.
Nikki, Unnormal wants to know what cell service you have, because she doesn't have service.
So I've got two different providers right now. The stream is on AT&T because they had a better coverage map of this drive, and then the phone call and the GPS is on Verizon. So yeah, I've got AT&T and Verizon. I'm using a Verizon prepaid service called Simple Mobile. It's literally a grocery store cell phone. But yeah, I'm using Simple Mobile on Verizon. And then I'm using regular AT&T for the stream right now.
Also said that there was a time where she saw a fork in the kitchen flew off the countertop on its own. And my mom and I were in the living room when it happened, and she made me check it out and just kind of let you know it was weird.
Yeah, that's poltergeist right there. You know, I had a similar experience in my basement. I had some friends over jamming downstairs, and a glass, like a big wine glass thing, literally like jumps off the piano. So it was sitting back on the piano ledge, and it jumps off the ledge, and it doesn't breaks at my feet. This had to be at least 8 feet of a jump from where it was on the piano to my feet. It was insane. The guy drumming, he saw it. He saw it happen.
And I think this is in reference to your night terrors. It says, Eric, is it ever accompanied with an out-of-body experience?
I haven't had an out-of-body experience during my sleep paralysis or night terrors. It's always been first person for me. But I know that you can get to the out-of-body experience through sleep paralysis and through night terrors. It is possible. And if you're able to overcome the fear, which is the hardest part, because when you're going through sleep paralysis and night terrors, your body is telling you chemically that there's something wrong. It releases adrenaline while you're trying to sleep. And that adrenaline triggers a fight or flight mechanism in your brain and in your body and your physiology. So it makes you feel like you're going to die if you can't move or fight, but because you're paralyzed, you can't do either. So you just feel like you're going to die. But if you can overcome that fear, if you can overcome that, you can get to the next stage and get closer to like astral projection and out of body and that kind of thing. And once you get over that fear, those dark shadowy people and those figures and that evil feeling will go away. But it's real hard to get over that fear because it is pure. It is pure fear, pure adrenaline. So, tough thing to do.
Is right now, I guess just enjoy your drive. You got anything that you would like to know?
I hope everyone's having a great day. It's so beautiful out right now. Like, I hope you all can see the road. Can they see the road and the sky and everything? Hello?
We can see kind of 3/4 of the windshield, I guess.
Nice. You can see out of it?
Yeah, we can see out.
Nice. Can you still see me? I know the camera shifted a little bit.
Yeah, we can see you.
Nice. Pretty cool. So one thing I've got going for this stream, and one thing that's helped me tremendously is the wide angle lens. I can't remember the brand I've got on here. It's one of the most top rated ones, but this wide angle lens makes it to where, like, if you have the camera right in your face, it'll pick up your whole face and the stuff behind you. Like with the, like, you're all able to see. That's because of this little wide angle lens clip on for the cell phone. That's one thing I do want to say is, like,
You're buffering.
Buffering? Oh.
Well, we're back now.
Well, it's one thing I do want to say is, like, if anyone's thinking about starting YouTube or anything, if you have a smartphone, you have the technology to start YouTube. This smartphone has been a godsend. Like, it's just an S5. It's just an S5, but the camera is so nice. The audio is really good. Like, and that's what I use to do these videos, and it's amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. Eventually, I am going to upgrade. I am working on some stuff. Basically, guys, I'm going to try and make this the absolute best, most powerful experience for you guys as possible. And I'm going to do some things like with equipment and gear to make it to where that is. But for now, this smartphone, this S5, it's incredible. And like, I was able to go to the grocery store and get the smartphone that I've got with the GPS and the phone call on a different network. Like, the technology we have at our disposal, and for cheap too, is incredible. So use what you got, make the most of what you got. I've learned that this universe, this world will provide you with everything that you can handle. And I know it'll provide you with a lot of shit too, but that's only because it thinks you can handle it. In my opinion, like, what I've come to understand is that the universe wants growth, progress, and change more than anything else. And it doesn't matter how it gets it. It doesn't matter if you feel good about it or not. The universe wants progress at all costs. At all costs. It wants progress, growth, and change. So if you can work towards that in any way at all, the universe will reward you for that, because that's what it wants. At least that's what I choose to believe. Like, I don't know if that's how it is or not, but that's what I choose to believe. That's the way it is with the paranormal. If you guys have noticed, like, it's one thing I've been documenting is this past year, especially the past 6 to 8 months, paranormal activity has been increasing on a global scale, worldwide. And part of the reason is because everyone's putting more into it. People are using new technology, new techniques. There's more people involved in it. And because of this, the universe is rewarding us with more activity. The more we put towards growth, change, and progress, the more the universe will provide back. So I have a feeling that it's not long from now we'll be able to communicate with the beings that exist right outside of our spectrum. We're pretty much there. We just have some interference issues to work out and some rules to work around. We all know that there's rules of the spirit world. Multiple people and investigators have confirmed that one way or another. But with these rules comes the ability to work with them, to work around them, to bend them, like the Matrix, if you will. But also, because there's rules, that means there's something in place that set the rules, which means there's an ability to change the rules. And I think the more we reach out, the more we work on this, the more likely it'll be that we'll be able to change the rules or to work with the beings that have set the rules. And there's definitely a lot that we can do and a lot that we're close to.
Not any questions necessarily. Sarah said she's enjoying the live chat. Paranormal Playground said maybe you should record yourself when you're asleep to see if anything happens. And then Salsa has a question. Basically, he or she saw a spirit of a child, a little boy ghost in the closet, and they were wondering if you thought that could be the same ghost boy that you had talked to. And I guess, but basically, what are the chances? You know, do the ghosts that appear to people appear to a lot of people, or are they probably just random ghosts in different areas?
That's a great question, because that opens up a lot of possibilities. Here's what I think. It is possible that it was the same boy. Now, children ghosts don't last very long in the ghost world, to my knowledge. They usually get moved on to the light fairly quickly. There might be a process or different spirits in place that are solely there to move them along. But different mediums and psychics have told us that when children pass suddenly, they'll look to a maternal or paternal figure to attach to until they're ready or able to move on. Now, that's just dealing with the issue of, like, you know, kid spirits. Now, with that spirit possibly being the same spirit, I believe it is possible. I believe it could be the same spirit because people are starting to prove that spirits can travel through computer screens. Spirit energy can travel through computer screens, through cell phones, through phone calls. So that would mean that it is possible that it is the same boy. It's possible that he was able to move his energy through the devices, through the electronics, and get to there and here at different times. So definitely possible. Great question.
I'm kind of catching up in chat. Not a lot of questions. Nikki said she agrees with you. And I think that was basically in relation to the fact that paranormal activity is picking up, and that because there's more investigators, there's more likely a chance that there'll be a breakthrough.
Right, exactly. And yeah, she noticed it on her REM pod tour. Like, her REM pods were going off constantly on her last tour through the country, going to haunted places. And normally REM pods don't go off. It's like not a common thing because there has to be some type of energy that breaks that field. It's nuts. It's nuts that they go off so much now. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, it's amazing. When I first got my REM pod, I turned it on. Like, I turned it on in the living room at that, like, workbench I've got built in there, and nothing happened. We had it going for like 10 minutes. Nothing happened. Nothing came up to it. Nothing did anything. But then I took it into the office and put it in the spirit corner with the mirror. And after like a couple minutes, it starts alarming and going off. And I busted out the EVP recorder. We got EVPs. Like, just incredible. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to mention the other night. I think Paranormal Playground mentioned this. She said, record myself sleeping. After the session I did Thursday, I went to sleep, and I had the girls have been staying at my house, Lucy and Lola, and we were all in bed, and Lola kept needing my attention, and then she would suddenly look at my bedroom door as if someone was there, and she would just be staring in this like super creepy fashion, like, oh, it spooked me. And she kept doing it. Like, she'd be like wanting me to pet her, and then she'd stare at the door like something was there, like over and over again. And so eventually I shut the door. I was like, screw this. But the cam while sleeping might not be a bad idea.
Lucy and Lola are dogs, right?
Yeah, Lucy and Lola are my dogs.
We still don't have any questions right now. Just some myths about dogs. And
dogs are amazing. There is a video on the internet. I think Tammy showed it to me. There's a video on the internet of a dog reacting to ghosts. There's also dogs that like watch movies and stuff and react emotionally to them. But I would like to, at some point in my life, I want to get a dog and have them come with me on investigations. Like, have them come with me and try and train them in order to hunt ghosts with me. Oh, shit. They need to have something up further. Did you all see that? They need to have something way further up. Crazy.
she said a few times witches were called today. And sometimes yelling at her, and sometimes female, and sometimes sounded like a mom. And it wasn't her, so who does that?
There was something coming through that sometimes sounded like her mom, but it wasn't? Is that the question?
Right. They're calling her name. They're yelling at her, and they're sometimes male, sometimes female. One time it sounded like her mom.
So, I've heard that before too, where I've had it to where, oh man, I've had the spirit box use my exact voice. I've had the spirit box repeat me before in my same voice, like completely insane. I've also heard the voice of other people come through, and I think what that is it could be a couple things. It could be demonic mocking, which is definitely possible. It could also be a spirit trying to imitate familiar energy in order to get their message across to you more effectively. So it's possible they're trying to say something in a tone that's familiar to you, so that way you'll receive it and accept it and respond back. Now, were you hearing these voices like disembodied or through a spirit box?
Hopefully, Salsa will answer that. And in the meantime, we can get a better look at it. But in the meantime, Bonnie Potter said, Eric, would you ever do a cross-country tour if you raised funds? Like, you network various groups and locate?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to work out something with some people like in California and Nevada to see if we can do some spots out there. But it's all about logistics and funding, and I know I'm one of those people that always say, like, don't let money stop you from doing anything, but money is a big part, especially in investigating, because it takes money to travel more so than it does investigate, if that makes sense. But definitely working on it. Definitely going to, like, one of my long-term goals is to hit a haunted place in all 50 states. Like, that's a long-term, like, lifelong goal, and I am going to make it happen. It is going to take a lot of logistics, different fundings and whatnot, but also the paranormal community is there's a lot of people that are very willing to work with other people, and the majority of the paranormal community is not online. I can't stress this enough. There's tons of groups and investigators that have no Facebook page, no YouTube page, but yet they're well known in their respective towns, cities, states. So there's a lot of different ways that we can make that happen. But yeah, definitely planning on investigating everywhere as much as possible.
Paranormal Clowns, Joe, Paranormal Clown, said that he had that happen all the time, that spirits use his voice through the spirit box. And then also added in that voices you were asking about earlier, she said that they were disembodied and very, very clearly right in the ear, and no one else was in the house.
So also I've had the voices right in the ear, like, and it's so, like, unnerving. It's unnerving, those experiences with the voices right in the ear. So that could be a couple of things. Whenever I've experienced it, it was back before I knew about ghosts and paranormal, and before I ever did any cleansings or anything at the house. I had it happen a lot. It happened a whole lot. But since I've done the cleansings, it's only happened after I've had really, like, intense spirit box sessions or investigations and haven't, like, done a proper full cleansing. I'd get that happening. Like the most recent one, I was laying in my bed after one of the sessions and falling asleep, and I was thinking about the Demons in Seattle case, and because Keith and I had recently talked online, and I was just thinking about it, and I was, like, creeping myself out about it, and I was like, oh no, like, thinking about this stuff is going to make something happen, I need to, and then I was like, no, I just need to fall asleep, not think about this, just go to bed. And as I was, like, finishing that thought, some spirit or some being walked right up to me while I was laying down, put their mouth right up on my ear, and said, "Feck up." Like, I don't know what that means or what it meant, but it was just clear as day, and I documented, like, the experience. Like, I didn't get it on camera, obviously, because I was trying to sleep, but immediately I started recording on my phone after it, but just so creepy. I could tell their mouth was right up on my ear, and I literally did the most like typical movie thing ever. I like froze in fear, and my eyes opened immediately and were bulging out of my skull. Like it felt like my eyes were gonna pop because they just opened so wide and so quick. And I was frozen with fear. It was so weird. And then like a night or two after that, oh yeah, so check this out. I've been meaning to release these videos to you guys because I've been documenting it, but like that morning I get up and my alarm, the reason I wake up is because like my alarm had started going off and it was the radio, and whoa, we just passed mile marker 666. Did you all see that? It was on the right. It was north 666. I'm sure it was like north 66 and then 6 below it, but that was talking about this stuff right now and passing that, like there's 670, but wow, I've never seen that. But anyways, I was about to say, so the alarm clock is going off, it's playing the radio music, and it's set to just keep going off until you turn it off. But something turned it off on its own. You have to either hit a button or flick a switch on it to make it go off. But it goes off on its own, and it goes like it shuts off, you know? And that it shutting off woke me up. So I got up, or it woke me all the way up. I was partially awake, but it woke me all the way up. So I got out of bed, I go into the kitchen, and I'm making coffee, and the alarm clock radio comes on, and it says Eric Sean. It says my name through just the alarm clock radio, and then the song fades in, the radio fades in, and it's the Black Sabbath song, Ozzy's new cover of that Black Sabbath song, and it's playing the song, it's going through the lyrics, and I'm recording on camera at this point. And when I get back to my room, when I cross the threshold of the door of my room, the lyrics are, "My name is Lucifer, please take my hand." It was just super freaky. And then the next night, like, or maybe it was after the next stream, I was asleep and I heard something, and I look over and I see a dog, like a big brown dog, bigger than my dog, like perched up, like looking at me on the bed. And I just, for a brief second, I assumed it was just Lola, but then I realized that, you know, the dogs were at their mom's house for the night, and that Lola's not that big. So I turned back over real quick, you know, like the typical double take kind of thing. And it was just like, it freaked me out hard. There's just a lot of those events. And then I saw the woman standing in front of the bathroom door, like all in white. Like I've told you all about that. But yeah, a lot of just like back-to-back experiences.
More questions if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready for questions.
All right. So, Sarah wants to know, have you ever spent time in a haunted house without first realizing it was haunted?
Yes, that's actually a great question, because one of my most in the early days, I didn't know where to investigate. I didn't know like many other investigators, and so I would just take my spirit box with me. And one of my friend's coworkers had said that she felt like there was potentially a male spirit that lived at her house because of some things that like she had heard and felt before, but she's not really into the ghost stuff, so she didn't really know if it made sense or not. And I was like, no, let me bring my spirit box and we'll see. So I go over there and we're hanging out for a while, and then eventually I was like, here guys, you want to go like downstairs and do the spirit box? Because they always felt a creepy energy in the left side of their basement. Like the rest of the house, they said it's mainly fine. They don't really feel anything weird, but they said it always feels like someone's like watching them in that part of the basement. So we go down there and we go to the creepiest part, which is the bathroom. For some reason, the bathroom has like the most vibe to it. So we're in there, and I have it on. I'm scanning AM through like just the little white speaker that came with the spirit box. And we're asking questions like, how many of us are there? And it's answering it correctly. And then we're like, what's the name of the girl who lives here? And it says her name like super clearly. And every single response that we got, whoa, the car I just passed had a sticker on it that said SLS. Literally. Now it just got behind me because it's passing that go-kart thing. But yeah, that car just had a sticker that said SLS. What are the chances of that? But anyway, so we're downstairs and we're doing the spirit box, and the same man answered all of our questions the entire night. It's like a 40-minute session, like 30 minutes in the bathroom, 10 minutes out of it. But this man's answering, and they're like, we're like, what do you think of her house? And he goes, farts. And then it's like, do you not like her house? And he's like, it stinks. Which is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. And we asked him to use vulgarity so that we knew it was him. And he said all the cuss words. He said, like, everything you could ask for. And it was so clear. And that's not the best example because, like, you know, she had thought that she had gotten weird vibes in the basement and had told me about it. But I didn't know, like, it was haunted for sure, you know what I mean? And I'd been over there before without knowing it. But also I want to point out that whenever you go into a haunted location, when there's spirits there or when there's something up with a property, it feels way different than a normal house. Like, I guarantee you, I bet money any just average person, if you put them into a normal house and then into a haunted house, and even if it was the same type of structure and layout, they would be able to tell which is which, because there is something so profoundly different with haunted locations than regular ones.
Androgynous Apocalypse wants to know how you're doing right now.
I'm doing good. Doing really good. It's a beautiful day. Somehow my car is producing mildly cold air, which is amazing because there's no AC in this at all. So the fact that it's producing any cold air I'm eternally grateful for. That's how I'm able to have the windows up, even though it's like blistering hot outside. The left lane's, oh man, I should have passed this person. But yeah, there's been a lot of like construction on the interstate. But yeah, Androgynous, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm so excited for today. I'm so excited for tonight. I'm so glad that you're all here with me. I'm glad to be here. Androgynous, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a really good time. Taking in the views.
Sarah wants to know if Ouija boards in a cemetery. So there's a page online that suggests doing that. I think that's a good idea.
Well, I think one of the rules on the Ouija board is to not use it at a cemetery. I think that's like printed on the box, if I'm not mistaken. But it's definitely not a good idea to use a Ouija board at a cemetery. I'm not sure the logistics why or the reasoning, but I would not recommend doing that. I feel weird about cemeteries anyways, though. I don't even like running like just regular equipment in cemeteries. I mean, there are exceptions, there are times to make exceptions for it, but like on like Mother's Day, I felt that was appropriate because the person we were trying to reach was very involved in instrumental transcommunication. So it was more like a nod to them. Now, do I think that they're at the cemetery or that their spiritual energy is there? No. I think we probably had to call them there and get them there with us, but I felt it was the right thing to do in that situation. I don't know, tread lightly with the cemetery stuff. If there's someone specifically you're trying to get to, I think your words alone can reach them, but if you're wanting answers from them back, I don't know if the cemetery is the best place. And like I said, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong on this, but I also might be right. I'm pretty sure it's like a rule, either written or unwritten, that you're not supposed to use Ouija boards at a cemetery. I know a lot of people do. There's a lot of YouTube videos of people doing it, but I don't recommend it.
Right now.
What? I didn't hear you there.
Oh, I said I'm popped back up in chat. We don't have any questions right now.
Oh, nice. Well, I hope you all enjoy this view. There's a valley right in front of me. I don't know if you can see it. I wonder how much further we have. I can't believe we passed that car that had SLS on it, and then that mile marker that said 666. Like I just can't believe it. That's crazy. Like that's synchronicity if I've ever heard it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you all believe in synchronicities or not, but I like the word synchronicity because it's better than coincidence and it's better than meant to happen. Like, synchronicity, I think, is a more accurate word for what we're trying to explain in those instances.
Question: have you seen the channel that mainly about the guy in Washington, black-eyed kids at that infestation that wrecked his life? Crazy evidence. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen the Fantastic Daily channel. I don't want to comment on it at the moment.
Right now.
I'm curious, so has anybody watching ever experienced voices coming over a cell phone that weren't yours or the other person's? Whether it was explainable or not. Has anyone experienced that with their cell phones? And if so, how recently was it? Guys, I think it's one lane, so everyone's going super slow. Why are you going so slow for? It really is a beautiful day for driving. The past few investigations I've gone on, I've had to drive through the rain in order to get there. So this is nice. This is very nice.
Got another question.
All right.
C-Star says, Eric, most nights I end up somewhere else. Sometimes where my parents are, and sometimes where my parents are at, and they are past. In other places, I'm aware that I am here and not here. Why do you feel like having these journeys?
There's something you're meant to see. Something you're meant to experience there. She said, why am I having these journeys, or why is she having these journeys, or why am I? She, right? She said she's having
experience, she winds up being somewhere else. She's aware she's somewhere else. Sometimes she's where her parents are at. They've passed, apparently, and sometimes not, and she's just wondering why that experience keeps happening to her.
There's a piece of information that they're trying to get to you, or that the universe is trying to get to you. A piece of information that you might need here, but the only way they can get it to you is when you're there. So next time it happens, what I would think to do is maybe, if possible, because I don't understand the parameters of it, if you're in your full faculties or not, if you're in possession of full mental state, because I know sometimes I've had similar experiences where I'm not able to recall numbers or exact details. But next time you're there, if you interact with any people, see if you can count the fingers on their hands. And I know that sounds really silly and odd and off the wall, and it might sound crazy, but if you can count their fingers, what it does is it triggers a part of your brain that's not normally active during those experiences. This will enable you to have full analytic and memory capabilities. And that way you might be able to discern exactly what the message is or exactly what the data or information is that they're trying to get to you, because there's something trying to give you some piece of information or some type of experience that they feel is necessary for you in this world. So I would just try and do something to gather that data, even if it means doing something unconventional, if that makes sense at all.
When we get through, I'll see if you answered that. C-Star, if you would, just weigh in if that's what you were asking. Joanne wants to know what time you'll be at the location, and then once you answer that, the favorite person.
So I should be getting there around 9-ish, but I won't be able to start the stream till about 10:30 Eastern time. So I'll be starting the nighttime stream around 10:30 Eastern. I should be at the hotel soon, I hope. But once I'm at the hotel, I'm going to get settled in for a second, stretch out, and then I'm going to test some stuff. So I'll be looking for a test stream here in the next few hours. And then test stream here in the next few hours, and then the main event stream at like 10:30. And tonight I'm going to break the streams up into at least 2 streams, maybe 3. That way it's easier to go back and watch all of it. Plus I've got some different experiment things I'm going to try with the setup and everything.
Okay, so got the cell phone responses. Starry Night said that yes, but it wasn't a cell phone, but a totally disconnected in a box that rang. And then Nick said yes, and in the last month or 2, her cell phone had unexplained voices. And Starry said an old-fashioned phone, it rang. And
wow, that's awesome. So, Nikki, you've heard the voices over the cell phone?
I think Nikki's out of chat right now.
Oh, gotcha. Well, so Nikki's heard them, and then Starry heard that phone ring that had nothing connected to it. What's crazy is that is commonly reported. Well, not commonly, but that has been reported in the past that disconnected phones will ring, and it makes me wonder, because there's a story online of a person who was talking about they had an old house phone completely disconnected, like not even connected to a cord or anything, and it would ring. And every time they'd pick it up, there'd be no one there. But it would just ring. And there's no way it should be able to. I wonder if the old-timey phones ringing are residual, or if it's an intelligent being trying to communicate the only way it remembers how, but it doesn't have like the ability to speak over the phone. It can just make it ring somehow. Like that opens up a can of worms that we need to dive into.
Right. C-Star said that she has had phone issues too. C-Star said that she's had phone issues too. And Sarah asked if you've ever managed to connect with a past loved one from your own life.
The only past loved one I believe I've managed to connect with is my maternal grandmother. We called her Gran. I believe she came through on the EV. I believe she was my first Class A EVP, which is what got me into all this. And I think she did that for a reason. She said my full name on a recorder that I had set to the highest quality, which is the hardest for them to use. But yeah, that was, and then Carol Ann with the phone, like, I know what you're talking about, the voices coming over the phone and like the phone being messed with. That's something that we've been going through recently, and I've been experimenting with. I'm so excited to try out the cell phone experiments tonight. I have a feeling that something's going to come over the phone, and it's just going to be mind-boggling.
part of Starry Night's story, she said, you know, it was an old-fashioned phone that rang, and Joanne said, well, maybe that was residual. And Starry said she didn't know, but a man answered and asked about the tavern burned down. He wanted us to ask if so, if anyone was there. This phone.
Wow. Oh yeah, I think we talked about that. That's crazy. So it's very rare that there's ever someone on the other end of the line. That's truly rare.
And Salsa said, Eric, one time in my high school, I was walking to class, and it felt like one part of my side was hot and the other was icy cold, like something passed through me. Have you ever had that happen before?
Yeah, I know that experience. I've had it happen not on half and half of the body, but I've had it happen on certain parts of my body, like my legs, or like a leg and an arm, especially like hands and arm. Like I've felt that before too, and it's so strange. Oh man, one of the most recent ones, I was sitting at my computer office chair, and I felt two ice cold arms put their arms over mine, like someone was standing behind me and then bent down and put their arms over my arms, and immediately every hair on my arm stood straight up, goosebumps. I was like, oh my god, like it was just so intense. So yeah, so also I know exactly what you're talking about, because once that happened, I started recording EVPs, and I got an EVP that said, we're gonna kill you, and then I did a live stream and got the clearest response of demon that I've ever gotten. It's a clear as day voice that just goes, demon. I asked, like, who's in the house? Who's in here? And at first the response is robber, like an EVP voice that says robber, and then a second later, like 2 seconds later, it goes demon, like super loud, clear vocal tone, and I was captured on the live stream. Yeah, I know about the chill, like the passing through the body, like and feeling it. I know exactly. It's a crazy experience.
So Starry Night said, to our amazing question person, Eric's dad, thank you so much. And I think C-Star thanked me earlier, so maybe I ought to get a raise.
Get a what?
A raise. You need to double my salary on this thing.
You are doing phenomenally well. I tell you what, guys, since he's doing so good, we'll give him a raise.
Thanks, Starry Night.
We'll go double salary. Double that money!
No questions right now.
Guys, I think we're almost there, unless I might be 8 minutes from the next turn, or 8 minutes from the place. I don't know how this GPS works. The ghost of Hey.
Hey, doesn't look like we've got any questions, and if you're getting close, do you want to go ahead and end the stream and let you kind of concentrate on your directions and start back later?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me check the GPS.
Oh, I do have another question.
All right. What was it? One more time? Oh, crap. don't think we're connected. I didn't hear the question. Alright, real quick, what was the question?
What's your opinion on Zozo?
My opinion on Zozo. Well, I believe Zozo's real. And I believe Zozo's main goal is to manipulate people into promoting his name. Grows his power and strength. But I do think Zozo's real, and Zozo's something I don't want to mess with or come close to, just because I do believe that it's real.
Exit 99 for US 33 East, US 119 North toward Buchanan.
Alright, I'm going to get off here, but I want to thank you guys for the best Q&A session ever. This has been the best car ride ever, too. Having you all with me is amazing. I'm so glad we got this to work. It shows that if you can push all your technology to its limits, you can achieve random, weird, awesome stuff like this. But guys, you know I say it every time, you all make this epic. You make it truly epic. I'll be streaming as much as possible today. So in a couple hours, I'll be doing a test stream, and then I'll be at location around 10:30, and we're going to be going hard tonight. It's going to be, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure, if you're new here, please subscribe. If you think someone would love to see an insane asylum investigated at night, like live, invite them with you, invite them over, make it an event or something. But thank you guys so much for watching. You know the saying, stay tuned and stay epic. Now I've got to grab the phone and cut the stream. This will be fun. Pray for me, guys.
Half mile, take exit 99 for US 33 East, US 119 North toward Buchanan.